we're back from the BRB. As I said, I'm pretty sure we're probably heading into an investigation here. It'd make a lot of sense. We had a unfortunately rowdy detective murdered. Very upsetting. Honestly, really was taking a shine to Rowdy. She's very energetic, very fun character. The semi-sealed cell. I've got my notebook of stat explainers just in case, assuming we are going into an investigation. Can't be without that. I'd be in trouble. We'd all be in trouble. We continue talking as Bookworm pulls me by the hand to a new location away from the other detectives. Let me boost up audio slightly. What could Sir Renegade be thinking attacking his own comrades? The scene of the crime was originally his cell. I'm positive he knows something. How do you intend to solve... How do you intend to solve this case, incompetent? She's still going, Jesus. She takes such long breaks in between sentences. How do you intend to solve this case, incompetent? I will assist you, said the girl, her resolve evident. Are you sure, Bookworm? I'm the primary suspect, you know? You are also the one who caught Mystic Detective's killer. Even if everyone else is in doubt, I still have faith in you. Good point. Her voice is uncharacteristically profuse with emotion as she smiles at me. Right now, suspecting me is the obvious thing to do. That she would say such kind words to me regardless hits me right in my heart. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. I too offer you my fealty. Since our arrival, you and I have withered many a storm together. We are comrades through and through. You guys, thanks for believing me, especially when it'd be so easy to do otherwise. I couldn't be more grateful. I'm happy for you, Otto. This is all the result of your tireless efforts. While the situation may be dire, you have allies like these two to rely on. Lead the detectives, and I'm certain you can reverse this tragedy. Is it just gonna be those two and me? Before getting started, however, there's a vital task you must accomplish. Do you recall what it was I told you to do last time? Organize the crime's key aspects. There are currently 3 points of investigation vital to solving this case. First, we need to learn how the culprit entered. How did the culprit enter the sealed cell? Rowdy surely had the key on her before going to sleep. What we need to figure out is how she was killed inside of a locked room.
2つ目は
Second, we have to answer the question of why I'm a suspect? No. No, that doesn't matter now. The real question is why the culprit would take such a huge risk.
2つ目は
Okay. Second, why I'm still alive? I don't know how to word it. I mean, no, that doesn't matter now. The real question is why the culprit would take such a huge risk.
2つ目は
Why I was attacked. Okay, I guess that would be the risk. Depending on how you look at it. Well, sure, fine. Fuck it,
僕が
whatever.
襲われた理由僕が襲われた時おそらく犯人は犯行前で犯行を見られたわけでもないそれなのにわざわざ僕を襲って遠く離れた場所まで移動させた
Why was I targeted? The culprit likely attacked me before the crime, so I couldn't have seen it. And yet, they bothered to relocate me far away.
これは殺すよりもずっとリスクが高い行動だどうして僕を襲って犯人に仕立て上げたのかその理由も捜査において重要だと思う
That move was a far bigger risk than killing me. That, along with their motive behind framing me, will be crucial to solving this case.
そして3つ目は
And the final aspect of this investigation is not the cause of death. What time the crime was committed, the cards scattered.
床に散らばっていた花札大和さんは服のポケットに花札をしまっていた床にばらまかれたことには間違いなく何らかの意図があるはずだ
Those cards scattered on the ground. Rowdy carried those in her pocket. There must be a reason why they were left all over the floor.
この3つの謎を解くために僕らはまずは犯行現場を確認しようきっとそれがこの事件の謎を解く上で大切なことだ
Let's investigate the crime scene and solve these 3 points. I just know they'll be essential to unraveling this mystery.
よし早速捜査開始なのである
Verily, let us sally
で
forth!
すが無能探偵あなたはここにいてください私と武装探偵で犯行現場には向かいますと少女は忠告した
Okay, but please stay here, incompetent. Armor and I will examine the crime scene, advised the girl.
どうして2人だけに任せるなんてできない僕も行くよ
Wait, why? I can't make you two do all the work. I'm coming too.
あの現場には外道探偵がいます無能探偵を見つけるとまた襲ってくるはずです
Gotta do that off mic. Renegade is still at the Locus Delicti. If he sees you, it's likely he'll attack again.
確かに
Yeah, good point. I can't speak to his aims, but I highly doubt stopping him once would be enough to deter a second attempt. If I value my life, I need to be wary of him. Failing to do so could only mean danger.
私たちが外道探偵の位置を伝えるのであなたはできる限り安全な場所から指示を出してくださいと少女は冷静な判断を促した
We'll update you on Renegade Detective's location, so give instruction from the safest spot you can find, the girl urged with poise.
それが良さそうだな実際の捜査は我々に任せて無能殿は指示に集中してほしいのである
A solid plan. Entrust the investigation to us, good sir, and issue your commands.
ありがとう2人とも
Thanks again, you two. Hard to believe I'm stuck hiding from my fellow detective. Either way, investigating those 3 critical points and avoiding Renegade are the priorities for now. He may have provided me with an unexpected challenge, but this is no time to falter.
みんな頑張ろう僕らの手でこの悲劇を覆すんだ
Give it your all, everyone. It's up to us. Let's reverse this tragedy. Reverse the tragedy. Spin the chessboard around. Renegade Detective. Oh god, it's gonna be an actual mechanic, isn't it? Renegade Detective is targeting Incompetent Detective. Renegade is marked incompetent for death. Any other detective who approaches will be attacked, ending the game. Renegade has marked incompetent for death. Any other detective who approaches will be attacked, ending the game. Renegade will chase Incompetent, so maneuver him carefully to prevent others from getting hurt. I see. So I have to lead him away from me and also the others, because he's just a box that I assume is gonna like kill people. Interesting. And it automatic failure too. Interesting. Great, you could say. All right, let's take a look at the map. I'm hoping we can get this in one go. Oh, we got Techie on our side too. Intervenable. Where are you going? You're going in there. Where are you going? You're going in there. Workaholic. Okay. Again, let's leave the red spots for last. We don't necessarily. Let me pull out my book of stats just in case, like a safety blanket here. Let me put that right in front of me. Yeah. All right. So as far as intervenable goes, I assume he's gonna start chasing me this way. Where are you gonna want to go? So the spots on the ground are evidence squares. You use inspect, right? And inspection shows you how many squares away. So if I move like here, and I inspect, it's not close enough. So I do have to, now it's what's the 13 above it mean? I'm curious. Oh, it shows movement. Ah. So we can see. Well, I don't. But we can at least see the attack range, right? So, like, I want to move Bookie. I can be safe here and inspect. And then we go preliminary. These marks on the bar above my head appear to be wire thin. This is surely germane to the case, said the girl, sharing potentially critical intel. Scratches on cell bars. Great. So, and then next turn she can work in here. And those are solved with infer, and her infer is 6. So in their next turn, she could go there and solve this by herself. I think he's not gonna seek the other people. I think Renegade is purely gonna go for me. So as long as I'm mobile, then I'm fine. Like, Bookie should be fine if Bookie sneaks in here. It does her work. You know what I mean? Now, inspection is only 1. Unfortunately. We have the cards and we have this. Your analysis is 5. My analysis is 3. Your analysis is 1. Okay, we need to start. I think this might be a full move turn into. Into here. Because they're just gonna be fucking whatever. Wait. Oh, I was afraid we would move into his square and get hurt. I'm fine with that. And then I'm going to analyze the harder thing. This damage was clearly done by wires, meaning the culprit attached them high up on the bars and pulled them tight enough to leave a mark. Now remember, my idea, just narratively, I think this is going to be Workaholic. I think Workaholic's potentially the danger here. Now I'm a little afraid, but...
頑張るよ。僕でよければ。
I'm going to analyze the cards near the body.
よし、わかった。
Is there not a residual thought here? Did I not do good enough in the last mission to get the residual thought? I think that's the case, since I didn't ace it. Remember when I had to select the answers? Which is actually really upsetting that I don't get to see an extra scene. But I mean, I didn't care enough to like potentially redo that thing to try to go for perfect. So, apologies about that. Know that it eats me up inside too.
つまり
It's weird that the cards just flew out of Rowdy's clothes since she was killed in her sleep. Maybe something hit her hard enough to scatter them all. That creates another spot there. Damage to bed. Okay. I think that might be everyone. I don't know if I'd talked about this before or not, but I'm pretty sure there are New Game Plus only like cutscenes and stuff. That I probably will not want to be doing a full run of this game again in New Game Plus. So I think at the end, once we finish this game, I think I'm going to try to find a video online and just watch the New Game Plus cutscenes. And also, if I can find an easy way to view any potentially missed like residual thoughts like this, maybe I'll loop those in as well. Just because I think it would be interesting to see. So we'll do that. But yeah, just putting that out there. They're moving about. Alright. So yeah, he is coming towards me, obviously. Totally fine. They are gonna solve this thing. They'll solve it.
どうかしたのかこの辺りを探せばいいのだろう
Let's get this one out of the way. As Sir Teki said, this paint doth glow in the dark. Most strange, mysterious marvel, nay, a wonder, a miracle of modern science. Phosphorescent paint. Great. And now we can move. So I'm gonna move him out of here. Get these. Bop! The hidden door opens noisily. With Rowdy's keen hearing, she would surely hear it. This made clear Incompetent's name, said the girl with relief. Evidence cells hidden door. The investigation has progressed. Doleful is now intervenable. Let's go, Doleful! Do I move, now that she is going to get this, do I move Doleful out? I think I should. A full turn move, potentially.
どうされましたか？さあ、実験を始めましょうか。どうされましたか？この足でもできる限りは調べますよ。
The color and thickness informs me that this is one of the SPX's wires. Why is it so out of place? This demands an investigation. Squeaky, squeaky. A full turn move to like there.
どうしたの？
I
頑張ります。
He's moving fast, is the thing. Moving down was probably the wrong thing. I gotta lead him around here to this
どうしたの？
unimportant, like, back
どうしたの？
area. I can do the paint.
よし、わかった。わかった。よし、わかった。
The paint on the side isn't fully dry. Oh, he's reading. The culprit used it to ensure they wouldn't lose sight of the spike in the dark. Squeaky, squeaky. Doleful did that, yeah. And, and he's completely done. Incompetence testimony says the culprit brought the chair close to the SPX's remains. Assuming the commoner's innocent, this is a vital clue. Warden's chair. Oh. New information, huh? Better CC everyone ASAP. New keyword unlocked. Oh, he got the keyword for me there. Thanks. Thanks. Alright, 3. What are you going to be doing? Her inference is only 2. My inference is only 1. But if I do my 1 and she does her 2, then it would be finished. I think is the way to do this.
何か用かな。僕にはこれしか脳がないんだ。
Hey, I got cobwebs in my hair. Why didn't Renegade clear us out? Is he just messing with us? Undisturbed spider webs.
何か用かな。
Just gonna try doing that, but... Get that done. Get it? Huh? Spiderwebs are hard to spot in this gloomy darkness. By that logic, maybe you could hide something similarly thin inside these cells. There we go. Pop that open. Whoopa! Whoopa! Whoopa!
さあ、実験を始めましょうか。僕が対決しましょう。何か妙ですね。
Get it? Get it? Got it?
科学的に
Good.
考えましょう。
The metal shavings on the cell bar and bed chain match this wire. Culprit must have used this, then tried to dispose of the evidence. Okay. Ba, 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 ba.
どうかしたのか。奇跡だ。解けたかも
Like I
しれ
said,
な
when
い。
she goes and does her thing, then it will aid there. Done, done. I can move. Oh. Renegade this way. What are you gonna be doing? You're going in there, okay. What do I do with Bookworm? She needs to be here ready to do this once that unlocks.
はいはい。少女の復讐をする。
And it's not like she can move and reach this, unfortunately. So that's gonna be Doleful's job next turn. And I don't think there's a thing to analyze either. I think we just go.
しょう。
A culprit took the chair from the warden's room, chanced upon Watto, then attacked. How plebeian. Surely there were options aside from violence. Assault location. She's working it. Oh my god. I'm running. I'm booking it.
何か用かな。
How far is your inspection? 5. So 5 squares away. 1, 2, 3. Like you could. Whoa, it's like it counts 1, 2, 3, or 5.
どうしたの？
Do I have to be in the room?
どうしたの？どうしたの？調査は僕に任せて。
This SPX spike was used in the crime. If they took the trouble to seal it, then their plan must have necessitated it, right? Squeaky, squeaky. Alright, now what are you guys gonna be doing? I have to keep this guy occupied.
僕でよければ。これで合ってるのか
Since I'm just running around, I might as well analyze things
な。
well.
よし、わかった。
This spike seems off somehow. Aha! It's shorter than last time we saw it. Did the culprit use the wire saw to adjust it? What on earth for? Aha! Ho ho! Hee hee hee! Ho ho ho! What's your inference 6? You'll get it in 2 turns by yourself. We maybe need to start clearing the red things then. You know what I mean? The ones that I can. Oh, your inspection's not. It's bad.
どうされましたか？どうされましたか？肉体労働は苦手。
合点承知である。
なんて言ってられませんね。
Of the people I can move, you know? What's your inspection? Is 3. I should report this data to everyone else, right? Or maybe not. No, better safe than sorry if I'm unsure. Get that in there. You'll get that next turn. The only one I can move her, but like we don't want to do that because she needs to do that. So all those will get done. Oh, he's chasing me. Alright, when he starts circling around this way, we need to make sure the people we can't control are fucking out of the way. You know what I mean? They need to be out.
合点承知である。この辺りを探せばいいのだろう。おお。
Huzzah! I've happened upon new information. Now to share those findings with the group. Oh.
どうかしたのか。
Well, I think I shouldn't say those things. Okay, that's fine. She's gonna get that.
何か少女は尋ねかける。さあ、次の謎を探しましょう。
Pop. Like that pop noise. Them cards say it all. To damage the bed like this, you'd have to sandwich the spike between it and the wall, then close it real hard, see? Meaning there's only one way to do the deed, capiche? Said the girl, channeling rowdy spirit. Damage to wall bed. What's the, Oh, it doesn't need to be analyzed. Well, well, well. I will
どうしたの？
move along. What is the chance that like something pops up here? Should I try to move someone?
僕にご用ですか?
Up there, you know? He's gonna be able to get this next turn. Is that all the red dots? It is.
僕にご用ですか?
I'm gonna be crazy with it. I'm doing some like it could either come back to bite me or be really good. I could get this done on my turn here. Which I think would be better, because then it frees her up to potentially do something better. You know what I mean? Gets her out of the room, because the guy's going to be coming. Thread this loop on the spike with a wire tying the bed chain to the cell bars, and you could slide it to Rowdy, but using just one wire poses an issue. Wire attached to spike. Investigation is completed. That's it? Wow, we dominated? Actually? Oh, it feels so good after all the trouble I had with the one last time. Did I get all the spots? No, I didn't. I didn't because there's that one. There's the one. Oh, good thing I remembered that I was still moving. Okay. We just need, yeah, I need to take one turn just to get this one then. Who's still intervenable? Technically. Moved. I think she can move, I guess. Yeah, this one was relatively easy. I think you just made sure, all you had to do is make sure to just bring this guy and not bring, like, incompetent up. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't even make you, like, try to solve all this part and everything. Like, go down here to, like, I was afraid they were gonna make, not afraid, but I was, like, planning for, like, oh, we gotta go into different cells and... Well, we're gonna finish this with 4 hours here.
合点承知である。片っ端から探すのだ。おお。
So, I've happened upon new information. Now to share these findings with the group. Easy. I mean, the thing was, this was made easy. The people that we couldn't intervene with were, like, actually useful. Fucking, Gourmet did shit. A fucking workaholic picked up one of the red things and then, Posh was fucking did things on her own. Like, they were actually useful. Yeah. Does it mean that there were 2 residual thoughts there? I'm gonna see something. Let me see if I can find... I'm gonna try not to spoil myself potentially somehow, but... But if I type in, like, to Google, like, process, or not Google, YouTube, process of elimination, residual thoughts. I see someone's playthrough. I see the original soundtrack. I see my own video. Try not to get spoiled by fucking thumbnails and shit. I might just have to find it eventually. I don't know, or maybe because the The residual thoughts were actually interesting to see. Like, we got some nice backstory to characters, you know? I assume maybe I'd have to go find it in an actual, like a Let's Play or something, maybe. That's unfortunate. Oh well. Well, I'll worry about that later. Save? Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting... Alright, let's try not to fuck up the grilling, the questioning. A mere commoner insisting we assemble? The insolence of it all astounds me. I take this to mean you've discovered the crime's true culprit, then?
本当です。
That I have. Huh. Is it going to be Posh? I answer Posh's inquiry directly. Normally, I might have buckled under the pressure, but I won't falter this time. This is vengeance for Rowdy. God, if it was Posh who did this. First, allow me to clear my name. I assert that it would have been impossible for me to enter Rowdy's cell using the underground passageway. Pardon? And why exactly would that be? There was no other method of entry last I recall. There's a tricky issue with that tunnel. Something one detective particularly close with Rowdy must have noticed. That person would be... close with, Rowdy would have been Gourmet. The tricky issue with the tunnel, though. Let me just make sure. Cells, hidden door. Tunnel. Something about the tunnel. I think it's Gourmet. Yeah. Gourmet, would you tell us the issues with entering the cell? Oh, I was reading over. I wasn't even thinking there. The cell using the passageway?
Okay, yo. じゃあ、実際に開いてみるわね。
Okie dokie. Actually, why don't I open it up and show you guys? With that, Gourmet climbed into the passage and began opening the door. As she did, is it the large noise? Ooh. Yeah. Rather loud, isn't it?
ええ。ヤマトちゃんはとっても耳がいい子だったでしょ。
Right? And little Rowdy had such sensitive ears, remember?
そんな子が果たしてこの音に気づかずに眠ったままだなんてありえるかしら。
Do you really believe that she, of all people, could sleep through all that racket? True. A valid point.
そう、美食さんの言う通り、この地下通路から出るのにはとても音が鳴るんです。これでは隣の部屋の人に気づかれるかもしれません。
Just like Gourmet says, using the passage makes a lot of noise, so much that the neighboring cells might notice.
まして聴力に優れていたヤマトさんに気づかれずに侵入するだなんて無理に決まっています。
Which basically makes it impossible that someone with hearing as keen as Rowdy's wouldn't notice it.
お待ちなさい。犯人はなぜこのような失態を犯しましたの？
Now wait one moment. How could the perpetrator make such a blunder?
このような問題点、少し試せば気づけたでしょうに。
Surely they would have noticed the issue that had they tried moving it even slightly.
僕たちの目があったから試せなかったんだと思います。
I don't think they were able to test it since they'd risk crossing paths with me.
おそらくこの犯行は突発的でギャンブル的なものだった。 だからこそ犯人は荒を残してしまっているんです。
I believe this crime was a spur of the moment gamble, which is precisely why the culprit made so many blunders.
それはヤマトさんを殺害した方法にもよく出ています。
We can see similar missteps in the method they used to murder Rowdy.
殺害方法にどんな荒が起きたと言いますの？
Their method, you say? Tell me then, what missteps would those be?
その方法は科学くんが実際に再現してくれました。科学くん、準備はいい？
Techie already recreated them for us, actually. You ready, Techie?
はい、任せてください。準備ができました。
Yes, leave it to me. The preparations are all complete. Techie has an aura of readiness about him. Still, it's clear the group isn't on the same page, with Posh tilting her head in confusion.
何ができたと言いますの？上流階級にも分かるように説明なさい。
Well, what have you prepared for us? Explain in nobleman's terms, if you please.
家族さん、足元を見てみてください。
Posh, take a look at your feet.
これは床をワイヤーが伝っている。どうして私気づけなかったんですの？
This is a wire trailing along the ground. How could I fail to notice such a thing?
それによく見ると壁掛けベッドのチェーンに結びつけられているじゃありませんの。何ですのこのワイヤーは一体？
Looking closely, it appears to be attached to the chain of the wall bed. What on earth is the purpose of this?
このワイヤーは地下牢の中で見つかったものです。正体は家族さんもよく知っているはずですよ。
This is the wire we found inside the dungeon. I'm sure you know where it's from too, Posh. Pardon? Right. This wire is from the it would be from the SPX wire, yeah. I'm always scared of picking answers. This wire was used by a certain SPX to retrieve its spikes. Very same ones that attacked you, Posh.
盗まれたのは針だけではありませんでしたの？
More was stolen than just the spike itself?
はい。わかりやすい針が盗まれたことで、他の部品が盗まれたことに気づけなかったんです。盗まれたと言っても、大量のワイヤーの一部だけですしね。
Correct. It was obvious the spike was missing, so we overlooked what else was stolen. After all, it was just a small portion of wire taken.
このワイヤーは太めで丈夫ですけど、色が黒くて暗闇ではそうそう視認できません。この牢屋のように部屋ごとに照明がない環境ではなおさらです。
This wire is sturdy, but it's black, making it hard to detect in darkness. All the more here in the cells since they lack their own lighting.
このワイヤーを床に伝わせて壁に沿う形で入り口まで伸ばせば部屋に入らなくてもワイヤーで中に干渉できるでしょうね。
If you run the wire along the side of the wall to the entrance, you can manipulate what's happening in the cell without entering yourself.
そう、科学君の言う通りだよ。犯人は犯行前、おそらく消灯時間の直前にヤマトさんの眠っていた部屋のベッドのチェーンと柵とワイヤーで結びつけたんだ。
Right. Just like Techie says, before the murder, right before lights out, culprit must have attached the wire to the bed chain and iron bars.
そしてそのワイヤーを利用して犯人は牢屋の中に入ることなくヤマトさんに針を突き立てたんだよ。
They then used it to impale Rowdy on the spike without it going inside her cell.
待ってくれ。どのようにしてワイヤーで針を運んだっていうんだい？
Slow down. How do you propose they use said wire to move the spike?
確かに針なら柵の隙間を通せるかもしれないが、数メートル離れたベッドで眠るヤマトさんの胸に正確に針を突き立てるのは難しいんじゃないかな。
True, it could have easily passed between the bars, but several meters to the bed. Wouldn't an accurate shot to the chest be rather difficult?
ええ、その通りです。今回の事件で一番犯人が苦労した点はまさに針を突き立てた方法なんです。
Yeah, it would be. For the culprit, the trickiest part was figuring out how exactly to stab her with the spike.
その方法は壁掛けベッドのチェーンと牢屋の柵にそれぞれワイヤーを結びつけた跡が残っていたことから読み解くことができました。
However, I was able to recreate the method by examining the marks left by wires tied around the bed chains and cell bars.
犯人は思いもよらない方法で針をベッドの上で眠るヤマトさんの元まで運んだんですよ。その方法は
The culprit positioned the spike above the sleeping Rowdy by using an unusual approach. Namely, culprit positioned the spike above the sleeping Rowdy by using an unusual approach. Namely, dropping like a crane game. Culprit positioned the spike above Sleepy by using an unusual approach. I don't think it's a wire attached. A loop of wire has been attached to the base of the spike. Was it used to move it somewhere? So, I mean, sliding the spike down the wires? Is it this? The marks appear to have been left by a wire wrapped around the bar and pulled taut. So maybe with the scratches on that, it wouldn't be... Sliding the spike down the wires is phrased weird. Is it dropped like a crane game? Like you position it, you tie it around the door, and then you... Yeah, rest and the cell bars. I'm gonna slide it. Yeah! A gut instinct, trust your
牢屋
gut.
の柵をワイヤーで結びつけることで外とベッドまでをつなぐ架け橋を作ったんです。
We're fine, everything is fine.
そしてその架け橋を滑り落ちさせることで針を運んだんですよ。
By connecting the bed chains to the bars with wire, the culprit created a bridge to slip the spike into Rowdy's cell.
橋を作ったって要はチェーンと柵とを結びつけてピンと張ったということだろう。その橋にワイヤーを通して滑らせたというなら難しいんじゃないかな。
A bridge, So they connected the chain to a bar, then pulled the wire taut. Wouldn't it be a bit difficult to slide the spike down that way?
チェーンが伸びているのはベッドの隅じゃないか。チェーンの元まで針を滑らせたとしても刺さるのは頭かよほど運が良くて肩くらいなものだよ。
The chains extend to the bed's outer corners. Even if the spike traveled all the way down, you'd be lucky if it managed to stab the head or shoulder.
一本のワイヤーを用いて作った架け橋ならそうですね。でももし2本のワイヤーを欄干代わりに使った橋ならどうですか？
Yeah, with a one-wire zip line, that would be the case. But what if two wires were used to form a track of sorts?
2本のワイヤーで
Two wires?
ええ。2本のワイヤーはあくまで欄干。針が通ったのは欄干の間なんですよ。
Yes, two wires could then act as guide rails, with a spike suspended in between them.
少女は無能探偵へ用意していた凶器のレプリカを手渡した。
The girl handed incompetent detective a replica of the murder weapon that she had prepared. Just as I'd requested earlier, Bookworm produced a spike with some wire attached. Just like the actual weapon used in the crime, there's a hole at the base of the spike where a wire can be fed into. The wire has been passed through the hole and connected at the ends, forming a loop.
ありがとう、文学さん。凶器に使われた針も文学さんが用意してくれたこのレプリカと同じでワイヤーがキーホルダー状だった。
Thanks, Bookworm. Just like the replica she made, the real murder weapon also featured a wire loop, creating a sort of giant keychain.
この輪っかの中にベッドのチェーンと柵の間にかかった架け橋の欄干を通すとどうなるか実際に再現してみよう。
If we thread the guide rail wires connecting the bed chains and bars through this loop, what would happen? Let's test and find out. I pass the two aforementioned wires through the wire loop at the base of the spike, then let go. Once I do, the spike drops a bit before wobbling back and forth, dangling between the two wires.
このように輪っかにワイヤーを通して手を離すと針が吊り下げられた状態になる。このままじゃ針はベッドまで運べない。だからここからさらに変化をつけてあげなきゃダメだ。
If I let go like this, the spike only dangles in place. Can't travel to the bed like this, so an additional change must be made.
武装さん、柵のワイヤーの結び目を今より高い位置にしてもらってもいいかな。
Armor, could you adjust the knots of the wires over on the bars so they're up higher?
合点承知である。
Verily, my good sir. Wasting no time, Armor immediately unties the knots and repositions them much higher. The incline of the track connecting the bars to the bed is quite steep now. As expected, the spike begins to move. Like something of a cable car, the suspended spike slides down the two guiding wires.
針が滑り落ち始めましたわ。
It's begun to descend.
ある程度の角度がつけば針の自重で落下を始めるというわけね。これなら牢屋の柵の傷がとっても高い位置にあったのも納得だわ。
By adjusting the angle, the spike's weight propels it downward. I see why those marks on the bars are so high up now.
ええ、僕も柵の傷がチェーンと比べて随分と高い位置にあることが気になって。チェーンと柵とにかかったこの橋は傾斜が高くないと意味がないんじゃないかと思ったんです。
Yeah, I noticed the scratches on the bars were much higher than on the chains. That's when I realized the track required a steep incline. The sliding spike reaches the end of the track, coming to a halt where the wires and chains connect. It's perfectly in between the two chains supporting the bed, dangling directly over where the sleeper's torso would be.
理屈はわかりましたが、どうしてワイヤーがたゆまずに綺麗に滑り落ちますの？
I've grasped the general concept, but how does the wire remain taut?
輪っか状にしたワイヤーに吊り下げれば、針の重みでたゆんでしまいそうなものですのに。
All suspended by the loop, shouldn't the weight of the spike pull the wires downward and cause them to slacken?
凶器の針は先端以外とても軽いんです。しっかりピンと張って吊り下げれば、ワイヤーが針の重みに負けることはないと思いますよ。
Aside from the tip, the spike is remarkably light. So long as the wires are pulled taut and properly attached, they shouldn't give in.
ただ軽いとは言っても、傾斜の大きなワイヤー上を滑り落ちるには十分な重さです。傾斜をつけることさえできれば、問題なくベッドの上まで運ばれていくでしょうね。
Despite its lightweight design, it's still heavy enough to propel down the track. If the angle is right, it'll make it to the bed without a hitch.
針がベッドの上にたどり着いて柵の結び目を解けば準備完了。あとは無能探偵にお任せしますと言って少女はワイヤーを無能探偵に渡した。
Once the spike reaches the bed, all one must do is untie the knots on the bars. I leave the rest to you, said the girl, gesturing to incompetent.
それじゃあ皆さん見ていてください。犯人はこうしてヤマトさんを殺害したんです。
Alright, everyone, your attention, please. This was the method used to murder Rowdy. First, I untie one wire. It was only threaded through the chain links on the opposite side, so its removal was incredibly easy. Upon doing so, the suspended spike wobbles and falls toward the bed, but that momentum alone wouldn't be enough to stab someone. The design of the bed, however, was exploited to compensate for this.
この壁掛けベッド
Crunched.
構造上チェーンを引っ張ると閉じていきます。
Whoosh.
こんな具合に。
Because of the way the wall bed was constructed, pulling the chain will cause it to close, like this. Grasping the second wire, I yank with all my might. The chain is pulled along with it. And with a sharp noise, the bed jerks up toward the wall. Once I let go, we can see that the spike is embedded deep inside the mattress.
これはどういうこと？なんでベッドが起き上がると針が刺さるの？
Ooh, what was that? How did the spike stab through the bed when it was lifted?
針が落下しかけている状態でベッドを閉じると針の長さの関係でベッドの収納スペースの角に引っかかるんだよ。
Due to the length of the spike, folding up the bed causes it to catch on the corner of hollow space where the mattress fits into the wall.
そうか。だから犯人は針を事前に回収してベッドに引っかかる長さに調整していたんだね。
Oh, I see. That's why the culprit took the spike in advance. They wanted to adjust its length so they'd get caught there.
その通りだよ、飛躍君。この犯行には2本のワイヤーにぶら下げてもベッド上の相手に触れない長さでかつ閉じた時にはベッドの角に引っかかる長さが必要だ。
Exactly, Doleful. For this crime, the needle couldn't touch the victim while dangling, but still had to catch when the bed was closed.
だからこそバレるリスクを承知で針を回収しておく必要があったんだ。
I saw the spike was stolen ahead of time, despite the culprit knowing they may be exposed for doing so.
でも犯行中に犯人にとって想定外の事態が発生してどうしてもあるものが必要になったんだ。
But an unforeseen problem arose, making one other condition necessary to pull off this plan successfully.
それは一体
And that would be?
高さです。 科学君が説明してくれていた通り、このトリックには針をベッド上へと滑らせるためにワイヤーで十分な傾斜をつける必要がある。
Height. As Taki explained before, the wire track slant must be angled high enough to slide the spike over the bed.
でも犯人は犯行の際に自分の手が届く高さでは結び目の位置が低すぎたせいで針が滑り落ちていかず、急遽結び目を上につけ直す必要が出てきてしまったんだ。
However, during the crime, the culprit found that their arms were too short. The track was tilted too low and the spike stopped moving.
高さが必要とはどのようにすれば手に入るのである。まさか犯人が自らの体に骨延長手術を。
Adequate height was required? And how was it attained? Mayhap the culprit mastered the art of body elongation.
現実的には手に入れるのは難しいよね。でも簡単に手に入る方法もあるんだ。
Gaining sufficient height would be quite a challenge, yes, but there's a simpler way to accomplish this. The culprit gained height by using the room chair. I know that immediately by looking at it.
監視
Remember,
室の椅子を利用することで身長を補ったんだ。
the culprit needed the chair in the warden's room to raise up the wires.
SPX の調査の際に監視室から持ってきた椅子のことか。
The very same chair we employed while it's investigating the SPX?
そうだよ。きっと僕らが使っていたのを見ていたからとっさに思いついたんだろうね。
Yep, that's right. Culprit must have seen us using it and recalled it at that moment.
そして犯人は椅子の上に乗って柵の高い位置にワイヤーを結び直した後、改めて針を落としたんだ。
Standing atop the chair, they were able to reaffix the wires at a higher point before sliding the spike down once more.
でもここで犯人は致命的なミスを犯してしまった。
However, it's here that the culprit made a fatal error.
何をしでかしたと言いますの？もったいぶらずに早く言いなさい。
And what was that? Quickly, if you would?
監視室から椅子を運ぶ途中で偶然通りかかった僕と遭遇してしまったんだ。
When they were bringing the chair over from the warden's room, they happened to bump into me.
途中であるはずのない場所に椅子が置かれていた覚えもあるから間違いないよ。
I definitely recall seeing that chair somewhere it shouldn't have been at that moment.
目撃者を殺しにかかったのでしょ？別に犯人側からすれば真っ当な行動に思えますけど。
Perhaps they were attempting to rid themselves of a potential eyewitness? From the culprit's perspective, it would make sense.
椅子を運んでいる現場さえ見られなければ監視室へお手洗いに行っていたと言えば済む話です。人一人を殺すよりもずっとリスクが低いと思いませんか？
So long as the culprit wasn't seen carrying it, they could claim to be to be on their way to the warden's bathroom. Wouldn't that be easier?
つまり犯人はこの図面の中であの場所にいたらおかしな人物なんですよ。
Frankly, it was odd for the culprit to be in that area, considering the dungeon's layout. But at that time, someone was inexplicably at the spot where I was attacked, the same individual who killed Rowdy. Wait, is this gonna make me select the thing? Frankly, it was odd for the culprit to be in that area, considering the dungeon's layout. As long as the culprit wasn't seen carrying it, they could claim to be on their way to the warden's bathroom. Wouldn't that be easier? Frankly, it was odd for the culprit to be in that area, considering the dungeon's layout. At the time, someone was inexplicably at the spot where I was attacked, the same individual who killed Rowdy. And that person was... Okay, so let's think about it. During this whole thing, who was the most pushbacky, right? Can I still go back to this? Oh, I was gonna try to press triangle. I mean, we could start. How many people are there really? One? It's not gonna be me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 possible choices. You know what I mean? If there's 8 possible choices, and it's probably not armor, Well, let's knock out the easiest ones first, right? It's not going to be Renegade because just narratively. Posh is kind of pushing back a bit. Gourmet, Doleful, Techie. No, it's not going to be Bookworm. It's not Gourmet. Originally, I was like, oh, it's going to be Workaholic, right? Because I was like, that just like, again, narratively felt like it was going to be Workaholic. Doleful, no. Because Bookworm was helping us, Techie's helping us solve it. Like, it's not going to be someone who was, like, completely, like, doing the things. Does that make sense? Like, if someone was directly helping, that's why I was like, oh, Posh, because I wish I still could pull up the triangle button and see that screen again. But I think because the layout of the dungeon, I've narrowed it down to 2 people. Again, Posh was kind of pushing back, but I think that might just be her personality. But my idea is Posh or Workaholic. Because again, Workaholic, narratively, I was calling Workaholic from like the beginning. The way it painted, the way we were like, Workaholic was being showcased a bit, just like how Downtown Detective was being showcased in the last chapter. Does that make sense? That's why I had that thought about him. And so is it fair for me to pick Workaholic just not on a pure that, but like on a pure meta level? Almost, not just pure, but on a meta level, I'm like, oh, it makes sense. He's falling in line with Downtown from last chapter. Again, the way he was showcased. But again, when you start listing, it's that and the fact that like the only other person I could maybe give is like Posh because she was so pushbacky. But again, I think that's her personality thing. I think it's Workaholic. Woo! Oh, my brain. Am I right? That's right. It was you, Workaholic Detective. Kind of a bummer. Workaholic. I said it right. I looked at Incompetent as a title there. And Workaholic, interesting character, but not too sad to see him go. You know, it's fine. Also, I think I said a stream or 2 ago in this game where I was like, hey, like it's going to be interesting if Workaholic is either killed or was the killer, because he's like the old one on the team, you know, like he is the most adult now. I mean, I guess Armor's kind of adult, but like without Mystic and without Workaholic, like we're getting rid of a lot of the olds. You're the culprit. You're the one who murdered Rowdy. Got him. Despite being accused as the killer, Workaholic smiles, completely unflustered. I mean, this is the way. If you are the killer, this is how you'd have to act, right? You have to be like, oh, that's silly. It's a rather cruel joke. You think I'm the culprit on no grounds aside from the positions of our rooms? What about that makes you so sure that I'm the one who did it? This is just what I'd expect from a veteran detective. His reply is calm and his voice is quiet. Before coming to this island, I might have lost faith in my theory and abandoned it. But I'm not hesitating anymore. I'll trust myself on this one, the way Rowdy would have. It was odd for Workaholic to be where I saw him because I'm not going to be able to get the room right. But it's what we were saying before. Lights weren't on. It's not on the way to the bathroom. It's not on the way to the bathroom, I think, because of the layout thing. Yeah. I got it. We're good. We're good. We're good. Yeah. Your room's in the back. There's no reason to go through the front to reach the warden's bathroom. Being seen there would have been curtains for you. In that case, shouldn't Techie be a suspect too? You ought to be ashamed singling me out like this. That's true. If it's just based on room location, Techie is a suspect too. But the trick used for this crime proves Techie can't be the culprit. Because of the box. The wheelchair. Can't get a wheelchair on the box. That's because Tech uses a wheel. Well, stand or walk. Uses a wheelchair, right? Would be more accurate.
科学君はそもそも車椅子の身です。
Come on.
仮に立てたとしても、普段から椅子に乗っているので、椅子をわざわざ運んでくる必要がありません。
Techie uses a wheelchair. He's always in it, so even if he could stand, there'd be no need to fetch a chair.
僕だって信じられませんけど、SPX のそばで姿を見られてリスクが生じるのはあなただけなんです。
I don't want to believe it, but the only person who has something to lose by being seen near the SPX is you.
高さが足りず焦ったあなたは、看守室に近い表側を通って椅子を運ぼうとしていた。その時に僕の気配に気づいたんじゃないですか。
You lacked the height, so you panicked and took the closer route to the warden's room to get a chair. That's when you noticed me.
そして僕の気配に気づいて姿を探そうとしたことで、あなたは排除を試みたんです。
Closing my notebook now, since I barely needed to refer to it. You know, that investigation was a lot easier, all things considered. And since I had already sent someone and was looking for them, you tried to have me removed altogether.
姿を見られたかもしれないリスクを解消しつつ、罪を押し付けることもできますからね。
That way, you could eliminate the risk of being spotted while simultaneously pinning the crime on me. Got his ass. Workaholic's face changes color. Though I'm happy to catch the culprit, my heart feels heavy at the same time. To think Workaholic would do this, I can't believe it. But there's no going back now. I have to soldier on without faltering.
動機がないだろ
You're still lacking a motive, aren't you? Huh?
う。どうして私がヤマト君を殺さないといけないんだ。
What reason do I have to kill Rowdy? Never have I heard Workaholic speak with such a cold voice. It freezes me in my tracks, turns my way, pure ire etched on his expression.
私は探偵同盟の創設期から活動している。そんな私がなぜ同じ同盟の仲間を傷つけないといけないんだ。
I've been working with the Detective Alliance since its inception. Why would I harm a fellow member?
疑わしいのだ。確かに君の推理には筋が通っているからね。だ。動機のセムイのに疑うなんて探偵失格なんじゃないのか。
I know I appear suspicious, your theory holds water, but accusing someone without a motive, that's enough to strip you of your credentials. Well, you see,
動機のわからない犯人扱いし、人一人の人生を狂わせるなど、探偵が最もやってはいけないことだ。
treating others like criminals without identifying intent ruins people's lives. It's the worst thing a detective can do.
どうなの？答えろ無能探偵！
Well, competent detective, answer me! He rebukes me with furor, his threatening demeanor causing me to trip over my tongue. I can't find the words to fight back. My theory should be correct, but his harsh rebuttal makes me unsure. Did I really get this right?
ひるむな、バトク。君の推理は正しい。犯人は社畜探偵に間違いないんだ。
Stand firm, Watto. Your theory is accurate. There's no doubt that Workaholic Detective is the guilty party.
犯人はぶっ通し、感情のままに犯行を試みるのは珍しくない。引けば負ける。冷静な正論で押し切るんだ。
It isn't rare for culprits to panic, their emotions running wild as I push back. Balking equals defeat, so stay calm and find the truth. Bolstered by Holmes' encouragement, I keep my face steady as I meet Workaholic's eyes. They haven't changed, still gleaming with ferocious, murderous intent, but I can't let them beat me. My theory could very well ruin Workaholic's life, but he didn't just ruin Rowdy's life, he ended it. I can't back down now, there's no way.
もう一度聞く。なぜ私がヤマトさんを殺す必要がある？私を犯人呼ばわりするのか説明してみせてくれ。
Let me ask again, why would I kill Rowdy? If you're so convinced I'm the culprit, tell me why I did it. Here we go, Watto. Focus your mind and think. There must be something important that we're overlooking. Did Workaholic really want to kill Rowdy? Oh. I mean, okay. Okay, let's think about it narratively, right? He could have killed her and not wanted to kill her, which would then be one of these two options. Well... Oh! I just thought about it. Didn't they switch rooms? Didn't he want to kill Renegade? I think he wanted to kill Renegade. I think that's why it's the middle option. Didn't they, Renegade and Rowdy, switch rooms? Wasn't that the whole deal? And he was thinking he was going to kill. I'm so right. Ooh! I remembered the detail. The pivotal detail. I'm pretty sure that's what the thinking is here. You didn't mean to kill Rowdy, did you? After all, you didn't have any incentive to.
何を言っているんだ。実際にヤマトさんは死んでいるじゃないか。じゃあ何か私は殺す気がない子を殺したっていうのか。
Oh, what are you saying? Rowdy's dead, and that's a fact. What? Are you claiming that I killed her against my own wishes? Workaholic's right. Rowdy was murdered. He didn't mean to kill her, but she's still dead. Looking back, I could think of one underlying cause for this. The room swap. Bam, bam, bam!
ヤマトさんは外道探偵と牢屋を交換している。そしてその事実を社畜さんは知らなかった。
Before the murder, Rowdy switched cells with Renegade Detective, but you weren't aware of that.
つまり、社畜さんがヤマトさんを殺そうと思っても、部屋の場所を知らなかった今回の事件では殺せたはずがないんだ。
So even if you really had intended to kill her, you couldn't have because you didn't know which room she was in. Gulp. That brings me to another realization. This murder happened because two detectives swapped cells for the night, which means that Workaholic had actually meant to kill Renegade. Ooh. Which makes a lot more sense why you wanted to take him out. Incompetent, please. Believe me, I didn't do it, I...
社畜さん、もう終わりにしましょう。
It's time to wrap this up, Workaholic.
SPX の黒いワイヤーを密かに回収したあなたは、調査に乗じて外道探偵の部屋のベッドのチェーンに2本結びつけておいた。
During our investigation, you secretly took black wires from the SPX and attached them to the chains of Renegade's wall bed.
壁を沿うように床を這わせておけば、暗い牢屋の中で誰も黒いワイヤーになんて気づけない。これでいつでも牢屋の外からワイヤーに触れることが可能な状態を作り出したんだ。
You set them on the floor against the wall so they could go unnoticed in the dark cell. That way, you could retouch the wires from outside whenever.
迎えた犯行時刻、あなたは外道探偵の部屋の前へと向かい、準備しておいた2本のワイヤーを手繰り寄せ、橋でもかけるようにピンと張った状態で牢屋の柵に結びつけた。
When the time was ripe, you went to Renegade's cell, took the wires you placed, and tied them taut to the bars, creating a makeshift bridge.
すると、チェーンと柵の間に2本の橋がかかったような状態の完成だ。あとは針に通した輪っかを2本の橋に吊り下げれば、針は重みで滑り落ちていく。
That gives you two guide tracks from the bed to the bars. Then, if you thread them into the loop at the end of the spike, its own weight will glide it down.
滑り落ちた針は結び目によってちょうどベッドで眠る人の胸の位置で止まる。さらにその状態から針を支える2本のワイヤーのうちの1本を引き抜くと、針は胸へと真っ逆さま。
The knots would ensure the spike stopped above the chest of the sleeper. Then, after undoing one wire, it'd rest diagonally against the body.
そこで残ったもう片方のワイヤーも引っ張れば、ベッドのチェーンも一緒に引っ張られたことで、ベッドが針を噛むようにして閉じるという恐ろしい仕掛けだ。
Last, yanking the other wire would pull the chain with it, closing the bed upon the spike like it was biting down. Terrifying contraption.
このようにして牢屋の外にいながらにして外道探偵を視察しようとしていた。視察するはずだったんだ。
This is how you plan to stab Renegade Detective to death while remaining outside of his cell. Emphasis on plan, that is.
ただ思考不足のせいで針が滑り落ちるには傾斜が足りなかった。そこであなたは高さを補うために監視室への椅子を取りに向かうことになる。
Since you never got a trial run, you didn't realize the angle wasn't steep enough. So to fix that, you got a chair from the warden's room to stand on.
そこで運悪く遭遇したのが僕だ。自分がこの場所にいることの不自然さに気づいたあなたは僕を気絶させ 犯人に仕立て上げようと画策する。
But unfortunately, you ran into a wrinkle. Me. You knew it'd be strange for you to be seen there, so you knocked me out and used me as a scapegoat.
そしてあなたの罠にまんまとハマった僕が不完全な密室殺人事件の第一発見者として疑われることになってしまった。あなたにまんまと罪をかぶせられたんだ。
I fell right into your trap and became the prime suspect of the murder in this semi-sealed cell. You successfully pinned the crime on me.
でもそこまで巧妙なあなたの最大のミスは機動探偵と大和さんが寝室を交換した事実を知らなかったことです。
But after all your attention to detail, your fatal mistake was not knowing Renegade and Rowdy had swapped rooms for the night.
今回の犯行は全て暗がりの中遠隔で行われるせいで相手が入れ替わっている事実に気づけず誤って大和さんを殺害してしまった。
The crime was carried out remotely and in the dark. You never realized who was in the cell, so you murdered Rowdy by mistake.
社畜さん、あなたは以前から機動探偵とトラブルが発生していましたよね。あなたが本当に殺したかったのは機動探偵だったんでしょう。
Workaholic, you haven't gotten along with Renegade for a while now, have you? That was who you really wanted to kill, right? I... Workaholic's protests trail before dying off. The silence speaks far more to the truth than anything else that's been said.
事件は暗闇の中で行われたせいで誰にも気づかれず、そして犯人自身さえ過ちに気づかずに引き起こされた悲劇。
This murder was a tragedy done in darkness. Not a soul noticed it happen, and even the culprit wasn't wise to their own mistake.
機動探偵と誤って大和さんを殺した犯人はあなたなんだ、社畜探偵。
The mistake of killing Rowdy instead of Renegade. That culprit was you, Workaholic Detective. Workaholic's mouth hangs open, but no words come out. He has nothing to say in his defense. We all watch him in silence. Truth has been revealed, but there's still something I just can't comprehend.
社畜さん、どうしてあなたはそこまでして機動探偵を殺そうとしたんですか？
Workaholic, why were you so fixated on killing Renegade Detective?
あなたほど理性的で経験豊富な探偵が突発的な感情だけで殺害を計画するなんて思えません。あなたと機動探偵の間にはどんな因縁があるんですか？
I can't see a rational, experienced detective like you allowing yourself to get emotionally provoked into murder. What happened between you two? Well, you see. Yeah. Renegade Detective suddenly bursts into laughter. As he speaks, he points at Workaholic, his face flushed with joy.
いいショーを見せてもらったよ、社畜探偵。でもあんたはここでゲームオーバーだ。
Bravo, what a show, Workaholic Detective, but it's game over for you now.
どんな言い訳で切り抜けるか楽しみにしていたが、偶然生まれた動機の不在に頼るようでは終わりだね。
I've been waiting with bated breath to see how you'd talk your way out of this one, but relying on a lack of motive was your final swan song.
あんたが昔の自分を思い出して開き直ってくれることを期待していたんだけど、心底失望させられたよ。
I was hoping you'd remember your old self and show some defiance. From the bottom of my heart, I'm disappointed here.
もうあんたにはそそられない。
You didn't give me the slightest of tingles.
何を言っているんだ。意味がわからないよ。
What are you even talking about? I'm not following at all.
じゃあわかるように言ってあげるよ。
Then allow me to enlighten you.
そこの彼、社畜探偵は今でこそ常識人ぶっているけど、10年前までは真逆の人間だったんだ。
Workaholic Detective may act like your average white-collar company man, but a decade back he was the polar opposite.
なあ、そうだろう。その昔、正義の名のもとに大勢の子供を誘拐して監禁していた。
Isn't that right?
鬼畜探偵
Isn't that right? Or should we ask all those children you kidnapped and confined in the name of justice way back when? Diabolic Detective.
やめろ、その名前で私を呼ぶな。
Enough! Don't you dare call me that!
社畜さん、落ち着いてください。
Look, they're getting close and intimate. Workaholic, settle down. Workaholic's voice grows coarser than I've ever heard it as he grabs Renegade. I step between them, but his words are still ringing in my ears.
機動探偵、どういうことだよ。社畜さんが子供を誘拐していたなんて、そんなわけないじゃないか。
What are you trying to say, Renegade Detective? Workaholic kidnapped kids. There's no way.
察しが悪いな。
Yes way, actually.
10年前に君を誘拐したのもそこの鬼畜探偵なんだよ。もっとも誘拐した本人は気づいていない様子だけどね。
Diabolic Detective was the one who abducted you 10 years ago, although the kidnapper himself has yet to realize that.
布君が
Incompetent.
おかしくはないだろ
Oh, he didn't
う。
know.
なんたってこの島に集まった探偵たちはみんな明けぬ夜事件に人生を狂わされた奴らばかりなんだからさ。
It's not that strange, is it? After all, every detective on this island has had their life upturned by the Dayless Night incident.
どういうことですか。説明してくださいよ、社畜さん。
What is he talking about, Workaholic? Explain yourself.
違うんだ。私は確かに過去に罪を犯したが、今は
Don't listen to him. It's true, I've done my share of evil deeds in the past, but now...
仲間を殺しといてよく言うよ。
Some nerve saying that after killing your own colleague.
当時は鬼畜と呼ばれていたのに、10年の月日は偉大だよね。人畜無害な顔をして苦労人の中間管理職を演じられるんだものな。
Sorry, my chair making a lot of noise.
素晴らしいよ、鬼畜探偵。
You were diabolic back then, but 10 years is a long time, eh? So now you act all innocent as a world-weary middle manager. Fantastic, Diabolic.
その名で呼ぶなと言っている。
I said not to call me that. Workaholic slams his foot square into Renegade Detective's stomach. I hear the horrific sound of bones breaking. Ooh, a sharp crack utterly dispels his formerly weak appearance.
今までの蹴りは演技だったんですか。
So that kick earlier was just an act? Workaholic goes pale as he realizes his mistake. So you really were deceiving us all along, Workaholic.
違うんだ。かつての私は何も知らなかったんだよ。
No, this is all a misunderstanding. Back then, the old me knew nothing.
もちろん後悔はある。だから今でもその黒星のために夜も眠らず探偵会議を続けている。私は
Of course I regret it. Even now, I'm driven to make amends. That's why I don't sleep at night. Why I continue my detective work. I...
言い分は探偵にではなく裁判官に言うといいわ。ともかくあなたが山田さんを殺したことは事実。
Save your regrets for the judge. We all know the facts. You killed Rowdy.
私はあなたを絶対に許さない。
And I will never forgive you for that.
どう分けたらいいんだろう。地獄の地だ。天国の山田君。
It is so quiet over the music. This game could use some audio balancing for sure. I'm sorry. I don't know how to apologize enough. Once I'm in hell, I'll look up at Rowdy in heaven and continue atoning. At first, I think Workaholic is wiping away tears, but he suddenly whips toward Renegade Detective once again, his face full of rage.
だけど下道探偵、お前だけはどれほど犠牲を払おうとも殺す。殺してみせる。
But you, Renegade
鬼
Detective,
畜に戻ろうとも確実にだ。
I will kill you, no matter what it takes. Even if I must become diabolic again, I swear I'll end your life.
私はお前の正体に気づいているぞ。お前が機密警察が生み出した最悪の化け物、不滅探偵だということにな。
I know what you really are. Invincible detective. The most abominable monster ever created by the secret police.
あんたたちに何と呼ばれていたかなんて知らないさ。ただ覚えているのはこの地下牢に閉じ込められていたことだけだよ。
As if I would know what you creeps called me. All I recall is being locked up in this dungeon.
君も覚えているんだな。君と俺はこの鬼畜探偵に誘拐された同志だからね。
You remember too, don't you, incompetent? We're both victims of Diabolic Detective's little abduction spree.
まさか君も僕と同じ誘拐事件の被害者なのか？
Wait, what? You were one of the kids in that kidnapping incident too?
先ほどから何を話していますのあなたたち。話がちんぷんかんぷんですわ。
Just what are you two babbling about? Make some sense, you absolute nincompoops.
おっと、ごめん。詳しい話はまた今度してあげるよ。
Oh, I do apologize, madam. Why don't I fill you in on some other time?
それより今は鬼畜探偵を捕らえないとね。
See, right now we need to focus on restraining Diabolic Detective here.
社畜殿、おとなしくしてくれ。あまり痛めつけたくはない。
I bid thee refrain from resisting, Sir Workaholic. 'Tis not my desire to harm thee.
暴れるなら容赦はしないわ。
If you get violent, we won't show any mercy. Sandwiched by armor and gourmet, Workaholic looks to the ceiling and lets out a deep sigh.
信じてくれたのに。まだ捕まるわけにはいかないんだ。
I'm not asking you to believe me, but I can't let you seize me like this. Not yet. Oh, in an instant, Workaholic deftly slips out of their grasps before dashing into the passage the white SPX emerged from. It happens faster than my eyes can process. His speed belies the meekness he had presented up until now, and I fail to so much as react. I don't want to accept Renegade Detective's words as truth, but there's no doubt that now that Workaholic has been concealing his abilities this whole time.
社畜さんを追いかけよう。
Workaholic, we need to go after him. Everyone follows me toward the passage. We've solved the case, but all it leaves behind is an intangible misery hanging over us all. Struggle to read that part there.
下道探偵。
Renegade Detective? I call out as we head down the hidden passage. My impatience getting the best of me. There's something I have to know.
君は本当なら社畜さんの犯行を止められたんじゃないのか？
If everything you said is true, couldn't you have stopped Workaholic?
どうしてそう思うんだい？
What makes you say that?
部屋を交換したタイミングが良すぎるからだよ。社畜さんに狙われていると気づいていたとしか思えない。
Your timing for switching rooms was too precise. You must have noticed that Workaholic had targeted you.
随分と勘が鋭くなったものだね。たくさんいじめた甲斐があったというものだよ。
Now when did you go and get so sharp? Guess me picking on you really paid off, eh?
じゃあやっぱり。
So, I'm right?
ああ、狙われていることには気づいていたよ。でも確信は持てなかったから、あぶり出す必要があったのさ。
Yep, I realized that he was gunning for me, but I couldn't be certain, so I decided to bring it to light.
散々社畜探偵を煽ってきたおかげで、ようやく本性を表してくれて嬉しいね。まあその代償でヤマト君が死んじゃったのは本当に残念だけど。
From there, I riled Workaholic up till he was finally kind enough to show us his true self. Shame Rowdy paid the price for it, though.
どうしてそんな人事のように振る舞えるんだ？君の代わりにヤマトさんは死んだんだぞ。
How can you say that like you had nothing to do with it? Rowdy died in your place.
じゃあ代わりに死ねばよかったのかな。俺は彼女と違って身体能力も優れていないし、鬼畜探偵に本気で狙われたら一巻の終わりだ。
So, I should have died instead? Unlike her, I don't have any special physical abilities. If Diabolic actually got a shot at me, I'd have been a goner.
だからこそ狙われても死ななそうなヒー君に頼んだし、ヤマトちゃんでも大丈夫かと思っていたんだがね。
That's why I asked Dolly to swap. He seems unlikely to die, even if directly targeted. Then again, I also thought Rowdy would turn out fine.
まさかヤマト君が彼をかばって、さらにはそのまま死んじゃうなんて残念だよ。社畜探偵にはもっと命を大事に扱ってほしいものだね。
A damn shame she covered for him and got snuffed out for her trouble. Workaholic really ought to respect the sanctity of life more, eh?
本気で言ってるのか、それとも僕を怒らせようとしているのか。
Are you serious? Or are you just trying to make me angry?
本気さ。俺は本気で大和探偵に生きていて欲しかったと思うし、同時に最後まで探偵として輝き続けた彼女に心から敬意も抱いている。
Oh, I'm serious. I wanted Rowdy to live, but at the same time, I'm truly grateful to her. Shining example of detective-dumb to the end.
大和探偵は人生を見事に全うした。それで話は終わりだ。あとはそれを見とった俺たちが話を続けていけば、それでいいんだよ。
Rowdy Detective fulfilled her life's purpose with flying colors, and that's it. All that's left is for us, who are with her to the end, to tell her story.
人の命を何だと思ってるんだ。お前が止めていたらヤマトさんは。
Is that all human lives are to you? If you'd stopped him, Rowdy she'd still be.
はい、無能ちゃん、そこまで。けどちゃんも移動中くらいはそのおしゃべりな舌をお休みさせなさい。
That's enough, incompetent. Now that we're on the move, how about you give that wagging tongue of yours a rest, renegade?
また話そうね、無能くん。
Talk again soon, incompetent. My guard relaxes as Gourmet, true to her nature, intervenes once again. Renegade always manages to trip me up, and I feel pathetic about it every time. But Gourmet is able to keep her calm, even while facing someone who was involved in Rowdy's death, albeit indirectly. She really is incredible.
美食さん、ありがとうございます。間に入ってくれて助かりました。
Thanks, Gourmet. Really. I appreciate you stepping in like that.
お礼を言うのはこちらの方よ。私の代わりにヤマトちゃんの無念を晴らしてくれたのだから。
I should be the one thanking you. It was you, not me, who ended up avenging Rowdy after all. Gourmet's hand trembles slightly when she touches me. When I look closer, I spot tears in her eyes.
無能ちゃん、ヤマトちゃんのこと怒ってくれてありがとう。今まで力になれずごめんなさいね。
Thanks for sticking up for Rowdy just now, incompetent. Sorry I haven't been any help. She wipes her eyes with her handkerchief, and in an instant she's back to her usual unflappable, beaming self.
必ず生きてここから出ましょうね。死んでいったみんなの分まで。
I promise we'll make it out of here alive, in the name of everyone who's died.
はい。
Yeah. We've lost another friend, but we can't stop now. Those mysterious SPX sentry mechs, the sprawling underground maze, the secret police who built it, and the diabolic detective who kidnapped me. I saw the me below the line. If we're going to unravel all these mysteries, we have to commit to pressing on no matter what. Yeah, victim, Rowdy. Culprit, Workaholic. Cause of death, stabbed by SPX Spike. Sequence, by delivering the spike to the bed via wire, Workaholic used the bed's design to stab her. Notes, Workaholic intended to murder Renegade, but mistakenly killed Rowdy in the dark. He fled, but we'll pursue him and uncover his motives. Let's go!
ネットの闇からごきげんよう。インターネット界の女王、八崎公でございますわ。
Okay, I think we can read a bit more, but I do need to go to the restroom and have everything. So I can probably read for, stream for another hour. So we'll probably just do another hour of this, get into this next chapter. So I'll be back shortly. Give me a handful of minutes. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. Gotta love when the music gets distorted on these scenes. Okay. Yeah, we can read for like just another hour or so. Stream for another hour, basically. I don't know how much percentage-wise that is of more reading. Sometimes it's listening. Alright, the Quartering Duke. Greetings from the darkest corners of the web. 'Tis I, the Quartering Duke, Queen of Cyberspace. Today I have an... Today I have an important topic for all you young ones across the country. To be precise, it is time we discuss workaholics. What do you imagine when you hear the word workaholic? Surely nothing positive, yes? But as I say, even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. Therefore, being a workaholic is not necessarily a bad thing. Take my dearest friend, Uncle Workaholic. He had no purpose in life before he began pencil pushing. Couldn't even sleep, haunted by past traumas. Upon finding work at an unethical company, his life turned around. Every day he'd come home dog-tired and sleep without a second to spare for the past. In other words, some among us find inner peace through the practice of being a workaholic. Ugh. I was acting like a proper lady is too much effort and way too boring. Enough of this. Look, the point is that Uncle Workaholic got by without having to dwell on his worries and woes after becoming a workaholic. So you might want to think about if it's really worth it to have so much free time to yourself. Understood? I'm talking to you, got it? Talking to me? Day in and day out, and day in and day out, and day in and day out, and day in and day out, day in and day out, and day in and day out. I'm talking to you and your daily stream of worries and woes. Me. All my woes. We proceed down the hidden passageway in pursuit of Workaholic. As we do, I notice a clear change in our surroundings. There's another path. When did this happen? Workaholic detective's an old hand around here. I'm sure he could handle opening and closing a few secret paths. He might have used this passage when he brought me into the labyrinth too. Let's go. Keep an eye out for traps. We proceed with caution down this new route that appeared at the end of the passage the white SPX emerged from. I then realized that I've naturally taken up leading the group. Why are we allowing a commoner to lead us? Obviously it is I, our chief, who should be taking the spot where you now stand.
そのリーダーちゃんは俺たちにこれまで何をもたらしてくれたのかな。渋谷ちゃんのトリックを暴いたのも、社畜探偵を追い込んだのも無能くんじゃないか。
But think about what our tiny chief here has accomplished so far. Isn't incompetent the one who exposed downtown and Workaholic? Well, you see,
そんなことどうでもいいって。罠があるかもしれないし、周囲に気を配ろうよ。
I really don't care either way. There could be traps, so watch your step. I step between Posh and Renegade, interrupting their discussion. Our group can't rest for even a second without arguing. The only workaholic we're here to mediate. The thought of his estrangement makes me sigh. Including Senior Detective, there were 14 Detective Alliance members here. Now we're at 8, whittled down to nearly half. I refuse to lose any more of my companions. Can't afford to lose anyone else.
随分と探偵らしい顔になったな。やはり試練は人を強くしてくれるようだ。
You're really starting to look like a detective now. These ordeals have truly made you stronger.
僕なんてまだまだですよ。社畜戦に言い返された時も、ホムズさんに言葉をかけられていなければ、言い負けていました。
I still have a long ways to go. If you hadn't spoken up back when Workaholic snapped at me, I wouldn't have known what to do. Plus,
強くなりたいです。みんなを守れるくらい。もっと。
I want to get stronger. Strong enough to protect everyone. Far, far stronger.
君ならなれるさ。世界最高の探偵である私が保証する。
If anyone can do it, it's you. I, the world's greatest detective, will vouch for that. As we continue conversing, a light shines at the end of the passage. Huh? Then, we cross through it. Despite having already shared my story, the other's eyes grow wide at the extraordinary sight.
すごいね。まるで何かの遺跡みたいだ。
Wow, it's like some sort of lost ruin.
この壁に土臭い空気。我が修行していた洞窟を思い出すのである。
These mirrors smell earthy. They call to mind the cavern where I performed my ascetic training.
この壁、ここ数十年で作られたものではありませんね。詳しく調べてみなければわかりませんが、少なくとも100年以上は前に作られた通路だと思います。
These walls, they weren't made in recent times. It required detailed analysis, but at first glance they appear to be over 100 years old.
100年以上も昔に、どうしてこんな地下通路が作られたっていうの
？100 years old? Why would an underground tunnel look like this be created in the first place?
カルデラ信仰ですかと、少女は自らが過去に書籍で学んだ知識を口にした。
Perhaps it was used by a Caldor religion? Asked the girl, mentioning some knowledge she had encountered in the past.
カルデラ信仰何なのそれ？
A Caldor religion? What's that?
本当に無知ですね。私たちのいる場所は周囲が山に覆われているでしょう。
Ugh, you really are clueless. This place is practically awash with mountains, remember? Alright, so if we follow the same structure in this chapter, who is the most likely potentially to be like a murdered and culprit pair, right? Because if someone was already dealt with in a major way, it feels like they would be avoided, right? So like Gourmet, since her friend Rowdy, Bookworm because of Mystic, you know? Renegade probably not, because Renegade is important to the plot, seemingly. That kind of aura to him. So, like, we have, like, Doleful and Techie seem to be, like, the pair that would probably scream as far as, like, victims or culprits. Or both. You know what I mean? Because we only have so many people left. So, like, Techie and Doleful seemingly like they'd be prime for being either victims or murderers. My theory here. It worked for Workaholic last chapter for me.
噴火が起こると、まるで隕石でも落下したみたいに巨大なへこみが生じます。
That's because the entire island is what remains of a major eruption. Such volcanic activity leaves large depressions, much like fallen meteorites.
その構造をカルデラと呼ぶのですよ。 面倒見のいい少女は無知で情けない無能探偵に優しく解説してあげた。
The resulting formation is known as a caldera, the kind-hearted girl explained gently to the ignorant and pathetic incompetent detective.
言われてみれば
That
島
wry
で目覚めた
smile.
時波の音は聞こえたけど海は見えなかったよ。
Now that you mention it, when I woke up on this island, I could hear the waves, but I never saw the ocean.
それは周囲が壁に囲まれたような状態だったからなんだね。
I get it now. It's because I was walled in on all sides, in a manner of speaking.
あれでも僕らのいた洋館は中央の山に建てられていたよね。火山の噴火跡なのに中央に山ができるなんておかしくないかな。
Wait, but the manor is built on a mountain right in the center, right? Isn't it strange for that to be on an island made by a volcanic eruption?
実はあの山も火山らしいわよ。それもほんの数十年前に噴火したばかりのね。
Heh. Apparently, that mountain is also a volcano, one that just erupted a few decades ago.
そんな危険な場所に立ってたんですか？それに火山の中にまた火山ができるなんて。
This place was built on something that dangerous? I didn't even know you could have a volcano inside a volcano.
カルデラの中でもう一度噴火が起きた。世にも珍しい二重カルデラね。世界中を旅したことがあるけど、さすがの私もまだ人生で2度目だわ。
Yep, another eruption occurred within the caldera, creating a rare double caldera. I've traveled the world, but this is the only the second one I've seen.
こういった島では地熱でいろんなものを調理できて、グルメ的にも嬉しい島なのよ。この迷宮にも調理できる場所がないかしら。
You can cook so much with the geothermal energy these islands produce. It's an epicure's dream. I wonder if this maze is someplace I can cook.
年中腹ペコおばさんの話は置いておいて、この島のような噴火の後に生まれるカルデラ構造は多くの場所で信仰の対象となっています。
Moving on past the endlessly hungry old bag, caldera formations on islands like these often become an object of worship in many places.
特にこの島はカルデラが二重にある極めて珍しい島。過去の住人が神の住む場所と信じ、遺跡を作るのも自然な流れなのでしょう。
Especially those with a double caldera. Former inhabitants would have seen it as a divine abode, so it's only natural they'd leave traces behind.
国から弾圧を受けた宗教の信者が無人の島に流れ着いて村を起こすという話は珍しくない。
It's not uncommon to hear stories of religious devotees fleeing to uninhabited islands to form villages in the face of governmental oppression. Wait, let me see the, what the hell is that game? How many chapters are in this? We've just did 3, right? Completed the final chapter. Did I mistake how many chapters are in this game at some point? This makes it seem like there's 6. And we finished 3. So we're halfway through. But again, I've previously been told chapter 2 or something is really long. So maybe we're like a little more than halfway at this point. All things considered. This game is longer than I would have thought it was. But I know I'm also slow through it because of how I'm reading it and everything, but it's not uncommon to hear stories of... Oh, we already read that? Okay. So I was looking at the chapters. I'll say it after this. These ruins could have functioned both as a holy ground for the original islanders as well as a hiding spot for emergencies. I was looking at the chapters because A, of course, I would love to finish this game soon. Sooner rather than later. Obviously before the end of the year, but sooner would be better, all things considered. And also, you know how earlier I was like, oh, Renegade wouldn't be killed because of his importance seemingly to the story as a character. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get into later chapters he is killed. So I'm not saying it's not a possibility because it would seem like it would be an interesting little turnabout if he's murdered. But I don't know. Fakes his death. Emergencies?
そりゃ国に見つかった時さ。昔からよく言うだろ。
Like for when the government hunted them down. You know how it goes, don't you?
異教徒は殺せってさ。
Death to heretics and all that.
ちょっとあなたたち、何をのんきにおしゃべりしていますの？これだから庶民は嫌なのですわ。
What are all you blathering on about? Now, this is why I find the hoi polloi so utterly detestable. I think that's how you say that term?
そんなにガンガン前に進まない方がいいんじゃ。
Haven't heard that in forever.
他の時みたいに罠があるかもしれないし。
You probably shouldn't charge on ahead like that, Posh. Remember how many traps there were in that manor?
このような安っぽい迷宮の罠など、私の高貴な頭脳にかかれば、お茶の子そいやそいやですわ。
Oh, ho, ho, ho. The subpar traps in this maze will be laughably simple to avoid for one so gifted with upper-class intellect as myself.
さっさと攻略して、社畜探偵を捕まえますわよ。私についていらっしゃい。
Now, full speed ahead. Follow my lead and let us capture that dastardly workaholic detective.
待ってください。
No, wait. I try to stop her, but she runs ahead into the passageway alone, disappearing around the bend. This maze isn't as easy as to traverse as she thinks. But just as I'm about to shout this out to her,
いやー！なんでこいつがおりますの？
yeah, what is the monstrosity doing here? It's gonna be another robot, isn't it? Pasha's desperate panic cry reverberates throughout the labyrinth. She then shoots out from the corner she had just disappeared behind. And right behind her is a white SPX! The robot noise. The SPX presses forward with a mechanical whir. Before my brain can process anything, I shout out a command.
科学君、音声の解析をお願い。
Techie, analyze that sound.
任せてください。
Huh? Oh, leave it to me.
よし、読み解けました。今回のヒント、この橋渡るべからずです。
Okay, I've analyzed it. The hint this time is do not cross this bridge.
どこかで聞き覚えのあるフレーズね。
I've heard that phrase before somewhere.
童話の一休さんで橋を橋と捉えたエピソードがモチーフですね。中央の穴なら平気だという意味でしょう。少女は一瞬で読み解いて。
It's from a Japanese tale where the word bridge is purposely misconstrued as edge. Hit the center hole, said the girl, rapidly decoding the riddle. Okay.
了解よ。今回も私の自慢のナイフで美味しくいただいちゃうわ。
Roger that. Time to dig in for a second helping with my trusty knife.
待って、美食さん。危険な気配を感じる。あの SPX もきっと何か凶器を持っているはずだよ。
Wait, Gourmet, I sense danger. This SPX is definitely armed with deadly weaponry.
武装さん、僕が家族さんに代わっておとりになるから、その隙に足止めをお願いできるかな。
Armor, I'll swap with Posh and act as a decoy. Can you use that time to stop this thing?
合点承知である。
Verily, my good man.
ヒジャクさん、何をするおつもりですの？
Doleful, what are you planning to do?
家族さんはそのまま走って武装さんの後ろへ。
Posh, keep running and get behind armor.
こっちだよ、バカつけ。
Over here, you bucket of bolts! Doleful tosses pebbles at the SPX, running sideways as he waves at it. The SPX then appears to switch targets from Posh, swiveling around to chase after Doleful. Mer. Eek, I'm sorry I called you that! The SPX bears down relentlessly on Doleful. Aiming for its unprotected flank, Armor tackles the SPX with all of his might. He then pushes it all the way to the wall, pinning it in his grasp.
捕まえたぞ。
I've got it!
脅威の気配が消えた。今のうちに美食さん。
I don't sense any threats. Now's your chance, Gourmet.
はい、お粗末様でした。
Now, here's a dish to die for. Gourmet closes the gap in a flash, sliding next to the SPX and sticking her knife into the central hole on its exterior. The SPX's resistance steadily wanes. Just like back in the dungeon, its inner electrical cable must have been severed. I'm just curious if there's a reason for like the riddle things and deciphering, because now that there's a second different one, it seems like it's less importance. That's like potentially an important thing. I don't know. Armor doesn't release his hold until the SPX stops twitching. He finally lets go and steps away from the machine.
やった、すごいですよ皆さん。
Oh, we did it! You're all fantastic!
無能さんがすぐに指示を出してくれたおかげですよ。あのおかげで僕は迷わずに音声の解析を始められました。
It was all because of your swift commands, Incompetent. Thanks to you, I was able to start analyzing the sound without delay.
無能にしては良い動きだったんじゃないですかと少女は率直な感想を述べた。
I'd say you did well for someone so incompetent, as it were, said the girl, sharing her honest impression.
いや、そんな、僕も必死だっただけで。
No, it was no big deal. I was freaking out too.
とっさに最適な指示を出せるのは良いリーダーの資質がある証拠ね。
The fact you're able to give such optimal orders in a pinch proves that you have the qualities of a good chef. Nope, good chief.
それに科学ちゃんが迷わず指示に従ったのはそれだけ無能ちゃんを信頼している証でもあるわ。
Not to
今までの積み
mention,
重ねがあってこその結果よ。
the way Techie followed your instructions without hesitation shows how much he trusts you. This is the fruit of all your labors.
素直に自分を褒めてあげなさい。
You should give yourself a pat on the back.
美食さんの言う通りだよ。僕も無能君には何度も助けられて心から感謝してるんだから。
Gourmet is absolutely right. You've saved me so many times now, Incompetent. I'd like to thank you with all my heart.
あまりにも指示が正確すぎて未来が見えているんじゃないかって思っちゃうくらいだよ。
Your orders are so precise, it almost makes me think you can predict the future. About that. Obviously, I'm not going to admit his hunch is truth, so instead I give him the only thing I can. A strained laugh.
私
well,
庶民とのリーダーシップの差が浮き彫りとなったわけだけど、どうお考えだい？
we all just saw the vast difference a commoner's leadership offers, wouldn't you agree? Got her ass. Silence you. Enough out of you. Enough from the clown.
どう、飛躍くん。部屋に異常はなさそうかな。
How's it going, Doleful? Anything unusual here?
うん、大丈夫。この部屋は安全そうだよ。
Nope.
みんなも入ってきて。
Nope, this room seems to be safe. Come on in, everyone.
でも残念なことに行き止まりだね。また別の道を探さないと。
Though, unfortunately, it's a dead end. We'll have to look for another route. Huh? After exiting the intricate passageway, we find ourselves in a closed-off square room. It's identical to the one I was in before, making my way back to the dungeon half a day ago, save for one significant change.
おかしいな。以前に僕がこの部屋に来た時には四方に通路が開いていたんだけど。
That's weird. Last time I was in this room, there were open paths on all four sides.
全く同じ見た目の部屋がいくつもあるのかもしれないね。来た証拠に壁のどこかにマークをつけておこうか。
There could be any number of rooms in this place that look the same. Let's mark a wall so we know we've been here, just in case.
よーし、我がここに大きく探偵同盟の紋章を。
Verily!
無能殿、こちらへ来てはもらえないか。
Verily! I shall carve the Detective Alliance's emblem in full splendor right here. What ho! Sir Incompetent, might I ask you to come hither? There are strange characters engraved into the wall near armor.
見たことない文字ね。どこの言語かしら。
I've never seen writing like this. What language could it be?
私の知る限り世界中のどの言語どの時代の文字にも当てはまりませんと少女は自らの記憶との照合結果を口にする。
As far as I can tell, they don't match any known script from any era of humanity, said the girl, cross-referencing with her own recollection.
文学さんの知識量でも読み解けないということはオリジナルの言語である可能性が高そうですね。もしかしたら 暗号文かもしれませんよ。
If even Bookworm doesn't have any insight on these characters, then in all probability it's either an original language or a cipher.
どうしてこんなところに暗号が？
Why would a cipher be left here?
さすがは庶民。あまりにも鈍いですわね。
Typical plebeian, and alarmingly dense as alarmingly dense as ever.
無能さん、あなたが前にこの部屋を訪れた際は四方に道が続いていたのでしょ？
Last time you were here, incompetent, the path continued in 4 directions, yes?
ええ、そうですよ。だから通るときにはどこの通路から行けばいいのかわからなくて困りました。
That's right. That's why I had a hard time deciding which way to go to get back to you all.
見てごらんなさい。よく見ると四方の壁にうっすらと切れ込みが入っているのがわかりますわ。
Now pay attention. Upon closer inspection, do you spy the faint indentations on all 4 walls?
おそらくあの切れ込みは壁が動作することを示すもの。何らかのアクションを起こすことで無能さんが見たという通路は開通するのでしょう。
They likely indicate that each wall can be moved. As such, performing some action should cause the paths you previously saw to reappear.
そして武装さんが見つけた暗号こそが開通の鍵に違いありませんわ。先へ進むにはこの暗号を解く必要があるのです。
The cipher that Armor found is the key to opening them, beyond doubt. We must solve it in order to proceed.
なるほど。ますます映画に出てくる迷宮みたいですね。
I see. This labyrinth is feeling more and more like something out of a movie. Posh's theory may just be right on the mark. Workaholic was in league with whoever confined me in the dungeon as well as this labyrinth all those years ago. He'd know how to work the hidden passages here. If he sealed away behind him to shake us off, that explains why the room looks different this time.
きっと通路が閉じられたのは社畜さんの仕業です。彼の後を追うためにも早く仕掛けを解かないと。
Workaholic must have closed the passages. We gotta solve this puzzle quick if we're going to keep up with him.
私にお任せなさい。この程度の暗号、ピンカートン家の名にかけて鮮やかに解いてみせますわ。
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Leave it to me. On the honor of the Pinkerton name, I shall make short work of this cipher.
面白くなってきたね。果たしてそんなにうまくいくかな？
This is getting interesting. Wonder if it'll really be so easy. Oh boy. We can't pursue Workaholic unless we solve the cipher. We've got to figure it out somehow.
四角形で囲まれているってことは、これでひとまと
I
まり
wonder if I'm actually gonna have to solve something. The boxes around each section indicate that they're 1 unit each, right?
うん、そう考えるのが自然だけど、なんだか妙だね。
Yeah, that makes sense, but something's off about it.
妙って？
Off how?
これはおそらく独自のルールを持つ架空の言語。でもそのルールが今一つ見えてこないんだよ。
This is probably a made-up language with its own rules and everything, but right now I can't even figure out a single one of them.
一部に共通点は確認できます。ですが、共通点を持つ部分が文字の上だったり下だったり、とにかく不規則なんです。
There are a few
少
shared
女は苦々しげに言った。
There are a few shared elements, but they appear in the character's upper and lower segments both with no pattern, said the girl to her own dismay.
やっぱり文学さんの記憶力でもそう感じるんだね。僕もざっと共通点を探ってみたんだけど、あまりにも不規則すぎるんだ。
So, Bookworm's powers of recollection came to the same conclusion as me. I try to make sense of the commonalities too, but it feels almost random.
家族探偵がズバッと解決してくだされば話は早いんですがね、と少女は皮肉っぽく笑う。
That being said, things would hurry along nicely if Posh Detective could solve this for us. Tout to sweet? Tout to sweet? Sweet? Said the girl with a sardonic smirk.
大丈夫だよ。家族さんはもちろんだけど、僕たち全員で挑めばこれくらいの暗号はきっと解けるさ。
It's fine. If we all work together on this, Posh included, of course, I'm sure we can figure it out. Several hours later, we're still studying the cipher on the wall. Each of us had tried to deduce the rules of the script, but we still don't have even the slightest clue. Things have been on the move non-stop since Rowdy's murder this morning, and everybody is exhausted. My own forehead is streaming with perspiration, even.
ごめんムンノ君ちょっと休憩するね
I'm sorry, incompetent. I'm going to take a little break.
なんだか妙に暑い気がするが気のせいであろうか。
Meseems it is oddly warm in here. Peradventure, it is all in my mind.
いや僕も
With these
暑いと
words.
思うよどうしたんだろうね
No, it's getting hot for me too. I wonder why. The dungeon was chilly, but this underground labyrinth is strangely humid. Maybe there's a heater on somewhere. Feels like a sauna set to mild. If we push ourselves too hard, we could end up collapsing from heat stroke.
ピンカートン家の末裔である私がこの程度の暗号で
Gah, to think a cipher so lowly could stymie the heir to the Pinkerton name. Only Posh manages to still maintain her composure. She's been glaring at the cipher in this heat for hours without even wiping the sweat from her brow.
家族さんそろそろ休憩にしませんか先ほどから汗がすごいですよ
Posh is also probably high on the list. She doesn't have a pair necessarily that I can think of, but she hasn't really been touched as far as being linked to a murder slash suspect slash friend of the person murdered, if that makes sense. So my potentials of things happening to them this chapter would be Posh, Techie, and Doleful. Just putting out there. Posh, how about taking a break? You've been drenched in sweat this whole time.
余計なお世話ですわ私はこの暗号を解くったら解くのです
Oh, push tush. When I say I shall solve Cipher, I mean it.
無理してひたむきに頑張るその顔そそるな
What's-
でも悪いけど俺は休ませてもらうよ寿命を縮めたくはないからね
What strained determination. Makes me tingle and all, but I'm gonna have to take a breather. Wouldn't want to shave any years off my life. As Renegade Detective sits on the floor, all the other detectives, aside from Posh, follow suit, looking completely and utterly spent. Posh frowns in consternation at everyone else's behavior. Refusing to take a seat, she continues staring at the cipher.
勝手になさい私には庶民と違って成し遂げたい野望があるのですわ
Do as you will. Unlike you common rabble, I have an aspiration I aim to fulfill.
このようなところでつまずいていられるものですか私は必ず生きて帰らねばならないのですから
To think that I could be stalled here. I simply must find a way out alive.
非効率おばさん少女は皮肉の言葉を口にする
Useless old hag, said the girl with more than a hint of cynicism.
そんなこと言っちゃダメだよ家族さんはただ一生懸命なだけなんだから
Don't say that. Posh is doing the best she can. I shut down Bookworm's comment and move her far away from Posh so that her voice is out of earshot.
無能探偵は甘すぎですあんな自己中のおばさんにはガツンと一発かまさないといけませんよと
い
少女はお箱の武器を構えていった
You're too kind, incompetent detective. Selfish crones like her deserve a good clobbering, said the girl, hefting her weapon of choice.
かましちゃダメそれに本を武器みたいに構えるのもダメそもそも本は人を叩くのに使っちゃダメだよ
No clobbering allowed, and put down your book. Using that to hit people is just messed up.
ダメダメ大人は何でもダメダメダメダメダメダメダメダメダメダメというわけですねと少女は今時の子供にはわからないネタを口にした
No good adults always say no. No, 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 no. That's you right now, said the girl, making a reference most kids would find obscure.
それにしてもなぜあそこまでプライドを優先するのでしょうか理解に苦しみますと少女はずっと気になっていた疑問を口にする
Why does she care so much about her pride, anyway? Can't comprehend it, said the girl, voicing a curiosity she's held for some time. She has a good point. I've been wondering the same. Posh's demeanor makes it clear she comes from a prestigious lineage. Why then would she willingly choose to expose herself to the dangers of being a detective? It doesn't make any sense.
お姉さんが知っていることだけでも内緒で教えてあげましょうか。
Want your big sis to share what she knows with you? In secret, of course. Gourmet draws close to Bookworm as she makes her offer. We both nod so Posh won't overhear, after which Gourmet begins speaking, her eyes distant.
2人はピンカートン探偵社については知ってる？
Do you two know about the Pinkerton agency?
実は
Oh, also I just remembered there's gonna be a lot of keywords from the... We gotta read those probably whenever we decide to quit. I'll go through the ones we've got. Well, mostly just from books and movies, but yeah.
少女は深い深いため息をついた。そして無知な無能探偵に代わって詳細を語っていく。
Yeesh, sighed the girl before taking the reins from the clueless incompetent detective and explaining the details.
ピンカートン探偵社、大統領暗殺を未然に防いだことで著名な探偵アラン・ピンカートンが設立した世界中でも特に名高い探偵社です。
The renowned Pinkerton National Detective Agency, founded by Alan Pinkerton, who rose to prominence after preventing a presidential assassination.
大統領の身辺警護からスパイの摘発、政府と敵対する組織への諜報活動から犯罪者の追跡まで、彼らの功績は挙げればキリがありません。
Their myriad achievements include presidential security, unmasking spies, surveying those who oppose the state, hunting criminals, and more.
大統領からも信頼されるなんてすごい組織だね。家族さんが誇るのも当然だよ。
It must be an amazing organization if even presidents trust them. No wonder Posh is so proud.
ええ。ですがその功績は国家の命令で民衆に紛れ込み、不穏な動きを見せた者を冷酷に追い込んだ結果でもあります。
Yes, but those accomplishments are the result of them infiltrating the public on government orders to ruthlessly track down those deemed suspicious.
そのイメージから創作では敵役として扱われることも少なくありません。当時の人々にとって恐怖の対象としてのイメージが根強いということです。
That is why they're portrayed as villains in so many works. Evidently, the menacing image people had of them at the time was deeply rooted.
良くも悪くも探偵という職のイメージを決定づけた歴史的な会社、それがピンカートン探偵社と言えるでしょう。
For better or worse, this historic organization shaped the perception of the detective profession. That is the Pinkerton Agency's legacy.
ええ、その通りよ。ピンカートン社は探偵の歴史を語る上で避けては通れない存在。
That's exactly right. You can't not mention the Pinkertons when it comes to discussing detective history.
だけどそれももう昔の話なの。ピンカートン探偵社の名声は徐々に忘れ去られて、今では別の会社に買収され、警備事業が主となっているわ。
Those stories are way in the past, though. The agency's fame was slowly forgotten, and today, it operates as an acquisition of a security company.
え、そうなんですか。それだけ有名な探偵会社でも落ちぶれるものなんですね。
What? Really? I guess even famous detective agencies can end up taking a dive.
近代化が進むにつれ、諜報活動は法律で禁じられ、警察組織も充実しましたから、民衆に忌避されるピンカートン社とは縁を切りたかったのでしょうね。
As modernization continued, intelligence work was outlawed and policing grew more robust. The state then cut ties with the publicly shunned agency.
一説では、かの FBI はピンカートン探偵社を参考に作られたと言われています。
One theory suggests that the FBI was actually modeled after the Pinkerton agency.
国家のために尽力し、評価もされたのに、縁を切られるとは皮肉ですよね。と、少女はかつての英雄の顛末に同情しつつ語った。
Ironic how they did their utmost for their nation to great acclaim, only to be cast aside, said the girl, sympathetic toward the former heroes of old.
私は ピンカートンが英雄か悪かなんて議論するつもりはないわ。でも彼らが数多くの犯罪を解決したのは紛れもない事実。
I'm not here to argue whether they were heroes or villains, but the fact remains that they solved many, many crimes.
その事実すら忘れ去られていくなんて残酷よね。家族ちゃんは幼い頃から昔の偉業を聞かされてきたというから、その悲しみは計り知れないわ。
It's tragic how that fact's been forgotten. Posh said she grew up on tales of those bygone deeds. I can't even imagine how much it hurts her.
だからこそ彼女はピンカートン家の再興のためにわざわざ日本の地で探偵会社を立ち上げて懸命に探偵事業を続けているの。
That's why she decided to come to Japan to found a detective agency of her own. She's working hard to restore the Pinkerton name.
明けぬ夜事件が起きて以降、年々犯罪率が上がり続けるこの国こそ探偵が最も求められていると信じてね。
Posh believes detectives are needed now more than ever, especially with the crime rate here rising yearly since the Dayless Night incident.
探偵序列5位という実績は伊達じゃないわ。偉大なピンカートン家の名を背負って誰よりも必死にあがいてきた努力の子、それが家族ちゃんなのよ。
Being ranked number 5 isn't just for show. She's worked desperately to carry the illustrious Pinkerton name on her shoulders. That's the kind of girl Posh is.
それは生き残るために必死になるのも当然ですね。と少女は先ほど自らが口にした軽口を後悔する。
That desperation makes perfect sense, seeing as she's fighting for her own survival, said the girl, regretting her flippant remarks.
自分が死んだら一族最高の夢も叶えるんだもんね。
If she dies, her dream of restoring her family's honor dies too. I glance at Posh from the side and spot traces of tears on her face. Normally, this would just make her seem tough, but now I think she looks like she's striving to overcome a hidden bitterness. Oh man, we're getting a lot of details about Posh. That feels like it's marked for death or murderer. I'm nervous for her. Staring at her from this angle, I'm somehow reminded of Workaholic after he revealed his true colors. He was even known as Diabolic Detective before. What could have driven him to bloody his hands as a killer once again? He hasn't told us why yet, but it seems like he's grappling with a heavy weight of his own. Like Posh, there must be something he seeks to accomplish, even if it means committing murder. The pride of a distinguished family. What's it like bearing the responsibility of an entire organization like that? Right now, I don't have any grand convictions or resolutions. There's no way I could ever be like Posh. But there is something that even I can do.
事情は分かったんですが、彼女社長にしてはポンコツすぎませんかと少女は率直な疑問を口にした。
While I understand her circumstances now, isn't she a bit too worn out and unreliable to be the head of a company? The girl asked bluntly.
普段は彼女を慕う社員たちと共に推理を行っているというから、一人では本領を発揮できないのかもしれないわね。
Not quite. Apparently, she normally investigates with colleagues who idolize her, so maybe she's a bit out of her element working on her own.
それなら僕も家族さんを手伝います。
In that case, I'll go and help her out.
無能ち
Incompetent? I rush over to Posh, unable to take it anymore. My sudden approach startles Posh, who blinks at me with a look of astonishment.
何の用ですの？私は高貴な身、庶民の手など借りませんわ。他の皆さんと一緒に休んでいなさい。
Oh, what do you think you're doing? I will not permit my noble self to be sullied by the aid of a commoner. Go rest with the others.
高貴な身だからこそ庶民を使うべきだと思いますよ。
It's exactly because you're a noble that you should be putting commoners like me to use. What?
上流階級の方は庶民を導く存在じゃないですか。
Isn't it the duty of the upper class to lead the masses?
一人で解けない謎があるならリーダーとして僕に推理をするよう命じればいいんですよ。
If there's a riddle you can't solve on your own, you should play the part of our chief and command me to investigate. Posh tilts her head in befuddlement.
つまりどういうことですの？
What in summary are you proposing exactly?
つまり誰かに手伝ってもらってもピンカートン家の名は汚れない。いやむしろ誰かに手伝わせてこそピンカートン家ということです。
Look, let me help spare the Pinkerton name from being soiled. As a matter of fact, having others assist you is what a true Pinkerton would do.
なるほど。
Oh.
なるほど。
Oh, yes, I see. Posh looks unsure, her head still tilted to one side. But after a moment, she smacks her hand with a sense of determination, flashing her usual prideful smile.
そうですわね。あなたの言う通りですわ。私としたことが庶民に役割を与えないだなんて、ピンカートン家失格でしたわ。
Quite right. Spot on even. Failing to delegate to commoners, why, how to be disowned from the Pinkerton household for this behavior.
無能さん、私の命令に従ってしっかりと謎を解くんですのよ。
Well, incompetent, are you prepared to obey my commands and solve this riddle? Oh! Posh's laughter echoes loudly across the room. Suffice it to say, she's back to her normal self.
調子が良すぎませんかと少女は呆れてため息をついた。
She seems a little too satisfied about this, said the girl, sighing in exasperation.
落ち込むのも早いけど立ち直るのはもっと早い。これが家族ちゃんの強みよ。
No matter how quickly she gets discouraged, she always bounces right back. That's Posh's specialty.
さあ、私たちもそろそろ推理に戻りましょうか。こんな暗号で足止めを食ってなどいられないものね。
Well, ready to get back to it ourselves? Not about to let one little cipher serve me a slice of humble pie. I'm gonna go ahead and get to this now before I forget, because I'm sure if I wait much longer, I'll probably... Is it 5? 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me get these. Wire saw. Official designation, lethal artifact wire saw. Usually referred to simply as laws within the DA, this tool is generally used to open up sealed space and ward off assailants. The saw is a fiber composed of a special alloy and fitted with sharp, minuscule teeth that enables it to slice through anything that makes contact. There is, however, a side that can be touched without getting cut, as well as gloves made from the same alloy. Both of these, once acclimated to, allow one to handle the saw with ease. Pinkerton National Detective Agency. In a certain country, an historic detective agency whose name is known by all. Founded by Alan Pinkerton, a detective famed for foiling an assassination attempt on the president. His fame soon spread across the globe as his practice expanded to cover presidential security, rooting out spies, gathering intelligence on anti-governmental organizations, and tracking criminals as they work in the shadows, all in the interests of national security. One theory even posits that the FBI itself may be modeled after the Pinkertons. As the world continued to modernize, however, many of their intelligence activities became outlawed. With local police forces on the rise, the public gradually grew estranged from the Pinkertons. These days, the organization is not believed to engage in any detective work. Did they bring justice or corruption? Or are they heroes or villains, merciful saviors, or harbingers of death? Only time will tell how their history is told. How their history is told. The case of the sea turtle soup. An elderly fisherman turned himself in to the authorities, admitting that he'd once consumed human flesh. The old man had been shipwrecked and forced to survive alongside his companions. In time, his mind became sick and cloudy, prompting his friend to prepare him a bowl of sea turtle soup. However, years later, the old man happened to eat sea turtle again when he realized its flavor was completely different from what he had tasted all those years ago. By this time, all his friends who survived the shipwreck had passed away. With no way of knowing the soup's true contents, he gradually convinced himself that he had actually consumed human flesh. As the statute of limitations had expired, he would not be charged for any crime. Even so, the DA wished to put the old man's mind at ease, dispatching gourmet detective to help solve the mystery with their unparalleled palate. Interesting. Case of the endless night shift. In a particular office building, the lights curiously began to flicker on their own, come nightfall day after day. A rumor soon spread that it was the work of the supernatural, the ghost of a former employee who died from overwork. Thus, the DA was tasked with investigating the case. A workaholic detective who had been dispatched by the DA rigged a trap using wires to reveal the culprit, a man who had joined the company at the same time as the employee who passed away. The CEO of the company did not apologize or compensate the surviving family, but instead mocked them openly. In retaliation, the culprit decided to cause a stir. When Workaholic reported his findings to the CEO, the perpetrator was fired. However, the DA was able to produce documents outlining the company's misconduct, ultimately leading to an official indictment. Companies that make enemies out of their employees won't last long, said Workaholic, a contented smile on his face. And finally, the Chofu Torso murder. One day, a college student returned home to find their childhood friend on the table sliced in pieces. No other means or signs of entry. The student who discovered the crime scene became the primary suspect. Thankfully, downtown detective, who had been tasked with defending the accused, was able to put her talents to work. Using her special social investigation prowess, she determined that someone disguised as a food delivery person had boldly carried the body to the scene of the crime. Following this, downtown detective announced the death of her best friend at the hands of the courting duke. Although she had mostly engaged in detective work for fun until that point, she decided to prioritize her job over school, rising rapidly up the ranks of the DA. Great. Oh, right after a scene transition. Oh. An odd little jingle awakens me with a jolt. Once my mind is fully booted up, I see the Cipher room we arrived in last night. My D-pad says it's 7 a.m. That melody must have been set to play so we don't lose track of time. We've been underground for several days now. It's nice to have something that keeps my body's rhythm from getting askew.
おはよう、ワト君。昨日は遅くまで随分と頑張っていたみたいだね。
Good morning, Watto. I take it you were burning the midnight oil yesterday.
ああ、そうか。
Yeah, I...
暗号とにらめっこしている間に寝落ちして。
Yeah, I must have fallen asleep while we were staring at the cipher. I vaguely recall where we left off. We seemed to be getting closer, but couldn't quite hit on the solution. After I started to help out Posh, the others finished resting up and joined in. We then spent most of the night discussing the cipher. Bookworm found some partial regularities, but they didn't apply to the entire text, so we have yet to piece things all together. Even Holmes has been racking her brain about this, saying she's never seen anything like it.
おはよう、無能くん。ごめんね。僕も眠っちゃっていたみたいで。
Morning, incompetent. Sorry, guess I ended up falling asleep too.
自称リーダーさんも寝ているし、ノーカウントで良いでしょう。と、少女は庶民的に眠る家族探偵を指さして言った。
Our self-proclaimed chief is also snoring away, so don't fret, said the girl, pointing out the plebeian manner in which Posh detective slept. Speed! Speed! The sleeping noises. Posh sits on the ground, her face turned toward the cipher as though she's trying to read it in her sleep. Even when passed out, she still has her head in the game. Talk about dedication. A laugh escapes from my mouth at the sight of it.
よっぽど疲れているみたいだし、しばらく寝かせてあげようよ。
She looks pretty tired, so let's leave her be for now.
そうだね。家族さんが眠っている間に暗号を解いて、びっくりしてもらおうか。
Right. Maybe we can solve it while she's asleep and surprise her.
すべては偉大なるピンカートン家のために。と、少女は皮肉っぽく笑っていった。
And we will do it all in the glorious Pinkerton name, said the girl with a sarcastic chuckle. We resume working on the cipher, chatting away as we go, and while we do...
ほら、ちゃんとケーキは二人で半分こにしなさい。
Come on, split the cake. Half for you, half for me.
上流階級なんだったら、ケーキくらい一人一つずつあげてくださいよ。
If you're so upper class, why don't you each just get your own cakes?
文学さん、素が出てるよ。
Your true self is peeking out, Bookworm.
ケーキを半分こか。ピンカートン家の苦労が忍ばれるね。
Ah, splitting cake, huh? Pinkertons really have fallen on hard times.
そもそもケーキを半分こってどういう？
But why have a cake to begin with if... Suddenly, I noticed something. Cake?
なんとなくこの文字を四角ごとに考えていたけど。
Was cake the hint?
本当にその区切りで合ってるのかな？
Huh? We were grouping the characters by squares, but are we sure that's really the right way to separate them?
どういう意味？それ以外に区切りはないかと思うけど。
What do you mean? I don't see how else we could do it.
なるほど。文字を半分こにするんですね。と、少女は無能探偵の発想を字に表してみた。
I understand. You're saying to split each character in half, said the girl, putting incompetent detective's notion into words. Bookworm picks up a pebble and scratches lines across the characters on the wall. The lines look like thresholds, partitioning the boxes down the middle. The divisions are too neat for it to be a simple coincidence. How did they not think of doing something like that? I mean... Oh, I get it now. So all the characters are meant to be divided horizontally. Come on. I'm not a detective. I would have at least thought of that at some point. Yeah, I believe there were actually 2 characters per box all along, but our preconceptions blinded us to it. Pathetic. I see. That explains those partial patterns we saw. If we'd only noticed this sooner, we could have solved it already.
この状態なら法則性を見つけるのも簡単そうです。早速取り掛かりましょう。と、少女は暗号の解読を再開する。
The regularity should be easy to spot now. There's no time to lose, so let's begin, the girl said as she set to work on the cipher. And less than an hour later...
頭と尾の四角を押さえよ。つまり、この始めと終わりの四角形を同時に押し込めば。
Hold down the head and tail, so if we press the first and last box. She presses her fingers on the boxes at the ends of the writing on the wall, upon which surrounding walls start to change. Press her fingers on the box at the ends, okay. The walls shift, revealing several new passages. Looks like she had the right idea. After spending so much time deciphering this, the group can't resist high-fiving one another. New keyword. Oh, what was all that racket? An ambush? Are we under attack? What's a new keyword? Maze cipher. The first cipher solved in the underground maze, so named by Bookworm Detective. According to her, it's a fabricated writing system formed by fusing Hangul with Etruscan scripts. It was likely used while handling sensitive information within the organization. How did I figure this out? If you split the characters in half horizontally and compare their top and bottom portions, you'll notice that they comprise 5 basic shapes. Even an ape would realize these represent vowels. Next, the empty spaces on the bottom right confirm that the text is read left to right. If we assume the use of an alphabet based on these characteristics, the answer reveals itself in due course. Posh, who had been asleep up until now, leaps up, her eyes darting around the room. It's safe to assume she had no idea that she would help us decode the cipher by sleep talking. Morning, Posh. We managed to solve the riddle thanks to you. Thanks to me. We all burst out laughing as she stares agape at the newly opened passage, her head cocked in bewilderment. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. We leave the cipher room and continue on our way, but the nearly identical passage just keeps going on with no end in sight. On top of that, something that's been nagging at the back of my mind is starting to become a central issue. Hey, Armor, how are we doing on water? Not good. At our current pace, we have enough to sustain us for one more day, or one day more. So what you mean is, we only have one day's worth left. In this heat, that's gonna be a serious problem. The heat is definitely plaguing us here. It was present from the beginning and is only steadily growing worse. It's like being in a volcanic rock sauna. We've been strict with how we rationed our water, but now even that once hefty supply is under threat. At this rate, it's the temperature, not the quartering duke, that's going to kill us all. This must be geothermal energy that's being emitted by the volcanic rock. Things should get better once we make it past the stratum.
だけどもう数時間も同じところをぐるぐる回っているよね。ほら、さっき見た印が見えてきた。一体どうしようね。
But we've been going around in circles for hours, haven't we? See, that's the mark we saw earlier. What do we do now? Renegade Detective's right. This is the umpteenth time we've passed through here. We've tried every fork and every path, but each of them has been a dead end.
地下牢に研究棟のエレベーターの鍵があったよね。方位的には研究棟の方に向かっていると見るのがいいんじゃないかな。
We found that key for the research facility elevator in the dungeon, right? So we can at least assume we're headed that direction.
確かにその通りですが、私の記憶では研究棟方面へと向かう通路は壁に塞がれていて完全な袋小路でしたよ。
While that may be true, I recall the path
少
toward...
女は自らの記憶を報告した。
While that may be true, I recall the path towards Snarks being blocked by a wall, making it a blind alley, said the girl, sharing her recollection.
どの通路も行き止まりか。文学さん、左手法の他に迷路の攻略法に覚えはないんだよね。
So, all roads lead to nowhere, huh? Bookworm, do you know any other ways of getting through mazes besides the left-hand rule? Bookworm shakes her head ruefully. Left-hand rule is an ancient maze-solving method where one keeps their left hand on a wall as they proceed. We tried it at the start when the labyrinth began to confuse us, but we just ended up back where we started, making it entirely pointless. If even Bookworm lacks any useful information to get us through this place, then we really are trapped.
もしかしたら今は出口なんてないんじゃないかな。
Maybe there aren't any exits at all right now.
出口がない。それってどういうこと？
None whatsoever. How does that work?
僕らが見落としている仕掛けがあるのかもしれないよ。SPX やさっきの暗号もヒントは提示されていたよね。
We might have overlooked something. Yes, SPX and the Cipher both provided hints, right?
きっとこの迷宮も同じでヒントがあると思うんだ。なんだか迷わせることよりも謎を解かせることが目的のように感じるしね。
This maze is probably the same. There has to be a clue somewhere. I feel like the point here isn't to make us get lost, but to give us a riddle to solve.
ヒントか。壁には何も書いてなかったけど、どこにあるんだろう。
A clue, huh? But there's nothing written on the wall, so where could it be?
みんな隠れて！
Gasp. Everyone hide! Doleful suddenly panics, urging us to take cover behind some pillars. We all understand it's an emergency and immediately follow his orders. Oh shit, is it like clear? See-through? My ears pick up something resembling a whisper, causing me to shiver. I've heard this before.
何も見えないのに変な音が。
Huh? There was a weird noise, but I can't see anything.
静かに。あれは透明な SPX だよ。
Shh. Quiet down. It's an invisible SPX.
みんな、慌てずに音を出さないよう気をつけて。
Everyone, stay calm and don't make a sound. The grim tone in my voice snuffs out any potential objection from the others. As we sit in the shadows of the pillars, we hear a mechanical whir that all of us recognize by this point. I can faintly discern a shape as the air distorts around it. Without a doubt, it's the invisible SPX I encountered last time. I don't know what'll happen if we're caught, but getting drawn into a fight and wasting our energy would be worse than bad. Our only option is to hold our breaths and pray it doesn't find us. Somehow, the SPX doesn't notice us and departs. What a dangerous machine. This thing makes the white SPX look friendly by comparison. The only silver lining is that this SPX's capacity to detect targets is rather poor.
無能さん、先ほどの機械音を録音できました。音声解析してみますね。
Incompetent, I recorded the sound the machine was making just now. Let me try analyzing it. Beep boop. With that, Techie begins working his magic. And once he finishes...
これはどういう意味でしょうか。
What do you suppose this means? The hint Techie uncovers is incredibly vague. Discard your theories. Discard your theories.
セオリーは捨てよ。
Discard your theories? It's not enough to go on. Can't tell what it's trying to say. Maybe it's a clue on how to stop that thing, like with the white SPX.
文学ちゃん、何かわかりそう？
Any ideas, Bookworm?
ピンときませんね。これまで読んできた書籍の中にも近しいフレーズはありましたが、推理に結びつきませんと少女は苦々しげに言った。
Not a one. I've seen similar phrases in what I've read, but nothing that's applicable to our investigation, said the girl with frustration.
文学さんがわからないとなると、おそらく何か元ネタがある類のヒントではありませんね。
If Bookworm doesn't know, then this hint probably isn't based on anything specific.
先ほどの挙動を見る限り、索敵能力は低いはず。接近に気をつければ見つからずに済むと思います。
Judging from its behavior just now, its target sensing abilities are lacking. We should be able to avoid detection if we don't get too close.
よし、じゃあ先へ進もうか。またSPX が戻ってきたら大変だからね。
Okay, then let's keep going. It'll be real trouble if that SPX comes back. We pull ourselves together and set out once more, but at that moment... Eek! Doleful lets out a cry of distress.
ごめんみんな、気配に気づくのが遅れた。
I'm so sorry, everyone. I sensed it too late.
どうしたの、飛躍くん。近くにSPX がいるの？
Huh? What's wrong, Doleful? Is the SPX nearby?
違う、そこ、もうそこにいるんだ。すぐ近くに。
Nearby? No, it's there, right there.
まさか。
Huh? Really? Doleful points directly in front of me. I hear that same robotic droning coming from what appears to be empty space. I'm practically face to face with it, even though the SPX from a minute ago should have passed by already. My hammering heart deafens me. Can't see a thing. I have no idea what I'm up against. But the mechanical noise continues without pause, like a hand on a clock counting down the remaining seconds of my life. Everyone freezes in place. It's the only option. We know nothing about the SPX before us, or how it'll react to any action we take. Maybe nothing will happen so long as we stay still. I have no other choice but to hold on to this hope. Hello. But that hope is quickly crushed. Blades I've seen before suddenly spring up in the empty space. No matter how invisible it is, its killing intent remains clear. It's so overwhelming that by the time I try to dodge, I'm at a moment too late. Then, a blade descends toward me.
無能探偵。
Incompetent detective! I hear Bookworm's trembling voice, and yet, at this moment, I find myself surprisingly calm. After all, the denouement never predicted my death. If I didn't see myself die, that means this won't kill me. I'm certain that he'll come to my rescue. Get down, sir! Get down, sir incompetent, I mean. Thanks, Armor. As I predicted, Armor leaps in front of me. Ka-chink. He deflects the SPX, saying that quickly is hard, SPX's blade with his right arm, using his hand to grasp at the wiry parts that controlled it.
黒い SPX と比べたらまるでミミズの体当たりだな。この程度の斬撃では我の鎧は砕けぬのである。
'Tis but a flea bite compared to the black SPX. My armor shall not yield to so feasible a slash. Oh, he lifted. Look at those JPEGs move. Armor presses on, flinging the SPX against the wall. What incredible power. Sure, maybe the invisible SPX has a weaker output than the white one, but even then, armor strength is tremendous.
よし、このまま機能を停止させてやるのである。
Here, hi-ho! Let us now cease its functions. Oh, it's vibrating. Or something. I love that. I love that. As Armor approaches his fallen opponent, the air flickers where there had once been nothing. This must be the true form of the invisible SPX. How? How exceedingly bizarre. It hath revealed itself. Perchance it was moved by my chivalry enough to forbear its knavish tricks.
いや、ただの特徴だと思う。
Actually, I think it's just broken. The 3 holes in its exterior are now visible. If it's designed like the white SPX, one of them will deactivate it, but we don't know which one.
大丈夫よ。弱点ならもう見抜いているわ。
It's fine. I've already figured out its weak point. With that, Gourmet approaches the SPX, brandishing her knife at the holes on its exterior. In the blink of an eye, she puts the SPX out of commission.
白い SPX ちゃんより動きが遅いとは言っても緊張したわね。お腹が空いちゃったわ。
Whew. This little troublemaker might have been slower than the white one, but still made me nervous. That really worked up an appetite.
美食さん、どうして弱点の場所が分かったんですか？
Gourmet, how did you know which hole to pick?
そうなのである。まだヒントだって紐解けていなかったというのに。
Yeah, pray tell. I thought we had yet to ravel out this conundrum.
あなたたちが狙われている間に科学ちゃんが音声を解析してくれたの。と言ってもさっきの答えと同じでセオリーは捨てよだったけどね。
While the SPX went after you, Techie analyzed the sound it made, but it was the same as the other invisible SPX. Discard your theories.
さっきの答えと同じ。これまで遭遇してきた白い SPX はそれぞれ別の言葉を繰り返していたのに。
They both had the same message? That's weird. White SPXs we've encountered so far each had their own phrase.
ええ、白い SPX ちゃんはヒントを出してくれていたのに妙な話よね。
Mm-hmm. And those ones are giving us hints on how to defeat them. Strange, isn't it?
セオリーを捨てよ。スオリーを捨てよ。推理を捨てよ。推理を捨てよ。
Hoy day! Discard your theories, distinctive series, dispose of sinking, dismiss your thinking.
まさかこの透明な SPX はパワーで押し切れというヒントであったのか。
Perchance the hint means we are to destroy the invisible SPXs through brute force.
ごめんね、武装さん。今は真面目な話だから。
Sorry, Armor, but let's try to be serious here.
ええ、実は推理を捨てることが大切だったの。
Actually, dismissing our thoughts was crucial.
ええ
Wait, what?
我の推理が当たるとは天変地異の前触れか。
To think my conception was the earnest truth. Could this be a sign of the end times?
もちろん武装ちゃんの推理自体は的外れだけどね。
Armor's actual conclusion is completely off the mark, of course.
大切なのは透明な SPX ちゃんはヒントがないってこと。
The big takeaway here is that the invisible SPX didn't have a real hint.
つまりこの透明な子たちはヒントなんて不要で、そもそも3つの穴のどれが正解か設定されていないのかもって思ったの。
In other words, we don't need any hints for these little invisible fellas. They weren't designed with only one correct hold of hit.
ヒント不要で正解は設定されていないって。つまりどれを攻撃しても機能が止まるってことですか？
No hint required. No right hole to aim for. So basically we could defeat it regardless of which we attacked.
ええ、その通り。そもそも透明化しているんだからわざわざ偽物の穴でのカモフラージュ自体必要なさそうだものね。
Precisely. We're already unable to see it, so there's no need to go through all the trouble of having false holes as decoys.
確証はなかったからちょっぴり怖かったけどうまくいって安心したわ。
I didn't have any proof of that, so it was a little nerve-wracking. But I'm relieved it all turned out fine.
簡単にですが透明な SPX の内部を調査できましたよ。美食さんの予想通り3つの穴は全て電源コードに直結しています。
I performed a basic analysis of the invisible SPX's inner workings. All 3 holes connect directly to the power cord, just as Gourmet guessed.
つまり穴の位置さえ突き止めれば簡単に機能停止させられるということですね。と少女は厄介そうなメカの弱点を把握し
In
ほっ
short,
と表情を和らげた。
so long as you can locate a hole, you can stop it easily, said the girl, relaxing now that she knew the irksome machine's vulnerability. Techie and Bookworm finished reporting in. Their findings confirm what Gourmet told us. There's no difference between the 3 holes. If Gourmet is right, any SPX that plays this hint will have the same weakness. Her detective prowess never fails to amaze me. However, one question still remains.
推理が合っている確証はなかったんですよね。
You weren't entirely sure your theory was correct, though, right?
ええ、根拠に基づいた推理じゃないわ。
Yep, I had no evidence to back up my reasoning.
よく攻撃できましたね。もし間違ってたら死ぬ可能性だってあるのに。
You really went for it then, even though you could have died if you got it wrong. Gourmet's beaming smile turns plaintive.
ヤマトちゃんならきっと迷わないだろうなって思ったの。
At the moment, all I could think about was how Rowdy wouldn't have hesitated. Oh.
きっと迷わなかったでしょうね。自分が死ぬかもしれないって分かって
Rowdy.
仲間を助けられるなら絶対に。
You're right. She'd never given it a second thought. She'd risked it all, especially if it meant saving her friends.
ええ、間違いないわ。
Without a doubt.
私は誓ったの。ヤマトちゃんの分まであなたたちを守ってみせるってね。
I made a vow to protect everyone. That includes doing Rowdy's share of the work.
だからピンチになったら私に助けを求めてちょうだい。私が命を懸けてあなたたちを守ってみせるわ。
So whenever there's trouble, come to me for help. I'll put my life on the line to keep you all safe. Although Gourmet smiles as she speaks, there's a sadness in her eyes. I can sense the deep hole losing Rowdy has left behind.
科学さん、その SPX の索敵方法は何なんですの？無能さんが襲われる前に動きが遅かったのが気になりますわ。
By what means does the SPX detect its prey, Techie? I'm preoccupied with how sluggish it was when it attacked Incompetent. And I don't know how much until the next scene change, but we're gonna call it there because I do have to go. Make sure I save that. Alright, perfect. We're probably gonna hit this game hard over the next week and a half, for sure. I mean, both this and Crosscode and even Demon School, we're all gonna try to like hit hard and finish over the next like 2 weeks. Maybe unrealistic, but we're definitely gonna try it. So should be back on tomorrow's stream. If all things go according to plan, should be on early tomorrow. That's assuming I can stick to my plan of waking up early, getting things done early in the morning, and then being on. So hopefully there's that. Until tomorrow, thanks for watching. Watch out for Posh Detective dying. Until then.